call is now being recorded.
So,
yeah.
First episode of the Channel 10 podcast.
Yeah.
It's your
Very
man,
excited.
AR in the building.
Your man, Sin.
And we worked through the technical difficulties of recording interstate. I guess this qualifies as interstate commerce.
Yeah.
And we're in the building talking about some hip-hop.
Of course.
So, I don't know. I've just been thinking, like, I think that this year is the most exciting year in hip-hop, just in the first 3 months that we've seen. And, you know, from the end of last year to the beginning of this year, it's really the most exciting time in hip-hop that there's been in a long time. I don't know if you agree or not.
You know, I was thinking about that earlier after listening to Kendrick's album the previous night. And for some reason, I was thinking about, which year was it? It was a random year. I think it was 2008. And I think you had, like, around that time, I think that was, like, the last really good year before this one, when you had Q-Tip's album come out.
Oh, yeah.
And I think around the same time, or maybe a year later, he dropped Come All the Abstract, but, he finally, you know, really released it.
Yeah.
And then also, I think another gem, too, was you had Voodoo Mega's album that no one ever talks about.
Yeah, and it's crazy now that we had the new Cannibal Ox album that just came out, which I don't know, you said that you weren't too pressed on listening to it?
I wasn't, but actually to prepare for today, I listened to more than half the songs. I got to the one with MF Doom on it before we started this.
Yeah, I got up to about that point. What do you think about it so far?
It's essentially, to me, it had a lot of potential, but to me it sounds like a Vast Air album. And like just listening to like the first 4 songs, it seemed like, you know, Vast Air just got Voodoo Mega from off the corner and just said, "Yo, gotta get this money." Because I mean, he doesn't have any soul, man, Voodoo Mega.
I thought that Voodoo Mega shined, but maybe that's just because I was kind of more listening for Voodoo Mega. But my problem with it, and I haven't listened to the whole thing, I listened to about as much as you had listened to, but my problem with it, even though I pretty much like it, it's cohesive, it flows and everything, but it's too many features.
Yeah.
And there's features of people that I've never heard of, and it feels mixtapey. Like, who are these people? Like, I don't know. Like, let me pull up the track list, but like, I was
like
and then like the bad thing about it is that, you know, like usually you're supposed to kick off a song or be the person, like if this is your song, you should stand out on the song, and sometimes they don't really stand out. Like,
right.
And then they got like U-God randomly on there. Like,
yeah, but you know the thing about U-God, you know, actually I'm not entirely sure when he came on the track. I think it was toward the end, but that was one of the best U-God verses I've heard in years, actually.
Yeah. I mean, you know how I feel about that U-God album, though. That one that he had that was kind of ill.
Oh, the Dopium.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like he made some money off of it. Had some of those dub joints on there. I mean, shit was kind of whack to me, but Keynote Speaker wasn't any better.
Yeah.
I don't know, he should have stuck with Super Nigga, man. That was kind of a dope track.
Oh man, for people who don't know about Super Nigga, go look that up.
Yeah. But going back to the Cannibal Ox features, I was thumbing through them, and some guy named Elohim Star.
I was just about to say.
Yeah. Like, where the fuck they find that guy?
And then, like, this dude named, on that same track, like, they have Space, Suave Seva, I've heard the name before, and Elohim Star. And Space, I'm thinking Outer Space, who's from that Army of the Pharaohs clique or whatever, but...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
But, yeah, I think this is a different person. Dude's name is just Space, and that's what he's taking up. And then, like, another track, they got this dude, Bill Cosmic, spelled with a Q.
Yeah, he's the producer.
Okay, and iReels. But, I don't know. It just brought back some nostalgia to me because, honestly, I have the Cold Vein in my top 10 hip-hop albums of all time.
Yeah, I don't know if I can say that. I mean, see, the thing about the reason why I liked Mega Graffiti when it came out in 2008 is because it had the beats that, you know, I think Little Mega probably fits with. Because sometimes I think even on the Cold Vein, he really didn't exactly fit. But it's just the fact that it's just imagery, like the stock imagery, you know, the thing about the, you know, the pigeons and so on and so forth. It just happened to fit with the landscape, the soundscape that LP made for him.
Yeah. I kind of agree. I don't know. That album was just so dope to me. I can't really say he didn't fit. But it was interesting because I was looking up, I looked up a review. I think Spin Magazine had the Cannibal Ox as that album of the week, so I was looking at that, and they had a link to another article from way back about how I think Vastair was talking about how they would never do business for LP again, and, you know, he basically got them for a lot of money, and LP said he would never work with them again, and that kind of disappointed me because I thought they were a dope combination, and, you know, for them to come out with an album, it's kind of like they have to kind of recreate that sound only LP can do. I thought they did have decent style with this one. I wasn't mad at it. It fit 15 Cannibal Ox album, however many years late.
It does fit, but if you go back, did you ever listen to Vastair's last album? I can't think of the name of it.
Nah, I didn't to that.
Oh, what was that? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay. Technical difficulties, but yeah. How many albums has Vastair had? He had like 3 albums.
I think he's had like 4, maybe 4, because he had Look Mine No Hands. He had after that it was something about aces or something like that. We had that corny ass that Bass Man song that was terrible. Oh my God, it was that one, and I think he had another one, or maybe he had 3. But that one. The thing about these Cannibal, like, they have like some of the most random features from, like, you know, pretty big stars in the underground community. Like, you know, Vastair had Raekwon on his last album randomly. But
For anybody.
What would you say?
I play work with anybody. Like, no offense, but random people pop up on Raekwon albums, and then he did that whole album with them Ice Water dudes, and I liked it for what it was, but you know.
I forgot all about Ice Water, man.
I bought that album.
I'm sure you did. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't really get with it. I know that it got like that single or the second one. It got some spins on like Strictly Hip Hop and the Rap Attack back in the day.
I just remember 3 6 Mafia being on it, and I remember Remy Ma being on it.
You know, also they even had like the you know, like one of those old album type commercials on BET for a while too. Come to think about it, they did. That was like really random because if you think of. Because Ice Water, that album came out like right after the Lex Diamond story, right?
Yeah, I think it did because people were waiting for Cuban Links 3, which came out almost half a decade later.
Yeah. And then also around the same time when all that was going on, that's when you can tell that he got some crazy advance from Aftermath because when they were doing like some random promo cuts for YouTube or whatever. He pulls up in an all-white Range Rover, and then he has that classic. He's banging I think it was Catalina that he was banging, and then he had that like a piece of classic nigga jewelry, the joint with the crack vial with the diamonds inside.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, you gotta credit Wu-Tang, specifically Ghost and Ray, for coming up with the creative nigga jewelry, or I guess they call it truck jewelry.
I mean, yeah, and actually, you know, I never thought about it, but I'm going back and listening to the Juan Epstein archives, and they had Noriega on it, and they were kind of talking about jewelry, and they were talking about Noriega's Newport. Yeah, but I didn't know he really put cigarettes in it though. I didn't know it opened up.
I mean, that's dope. Like, it's jewelry and it's functional.
Now, have you seen George's that big book that he has on jewelry and hip hop?
Nah, I didn't peep that.
Okay, well he's had it for like some years now. But you know, it was 2 people who wrote it, but I recently just found out one of the people who wrote it, and it's so random, but it fits. That makes sense though.
Who was that?
Combat Jack.
Wow.
Because I'm not sure. Have you been keeping up with the cipher at all? Oh, hello. Technical difficulties again. Hello. Hello.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. I downloaded a lot of episodes, but because I have these interesting guests, but I haven't listened to it yet. Okay,
well, actually thinking about it, I think that guy is the most consistent between Juan Epstein and Combat Jack. But I went back. I haven't finished it though, but I was listening to the one he had with Combat Jack, and he mentioned something. I think he mentioned something about him writing like 2 books or something like that. But I started looking him up as I was listening, and then his name. I said, oh, that's the guy, because I remember seeing like a lot of his like he had like quite a bit of articles back in like the XXL back in the day, from what I can remember. But yeah, it was really random, but it's a good book though. The pictures are really nice, and it goes pretty in depth with the jewelry. I think he has Ghostface's pigeon or eagle rather in it.
Yeah. Big difference.
Yeah, actually, so this is, I think this may be going on a tangent, but it's Baltimore related, and this is very, very random, and I came across it like 25 minutes ago. Okay. I'm looking up Lil B, right, because I'm trying to understand if he's even doing anything anymore.
Right.
But apparently he does shows, and he's performing at Coachella. But something said in my head, like, he's like a weird hipster dude or whatever you want to call him. And I'm like, I know he's been to Baltimore somewhere, probably around Charles Street performing. So I look up Lil B Baltimore, and what comes up is an album on iTunes called Lil B Live in Baltimore.
Wow.
And it's one track, it's 32 minutes. And speaking of pigeons, like the album cover is like it's a pigeon, and like a picture of a pigeon in the daytime and like some grass or something. So I don't know what it was, but it looked like a Baltimore pigeon, a classic Baltimore pigeon. And then so I'm like, So in my head, I'm like, oh, so where the fuck did he like even perform at? So I look up on YouTube. I couldn't find anything. I didn't really go that deep, but I came across these two Baltimore niggas dissing Lil B, and it's like a 5-minute video, and they're just like freestyling.
Video and post it up on the website, channel10podcast.com.
Yeah, we gotta post that up.
Yeah, Lil B's an interesting dude. What's funny is I was sent a video by this guy who from Baltimore who does bass or who was doing bass freestyles, and like in like an alley.
What?
And the person who sent me the video wasn't up on Lil B or whatever, but this dude was just doing bass freestyles in this alley in Baltimore, and I gotta find it again. I'm gonna ask her to send me the link again, because she was, this is horrible, and I was like, I don't understand the baseness of what you're witnessing right now.
Damn, man.
I thought that Lil B, that he was just lectures. I saw something like he's doing lectures on the college circuit, and I saw something that he did recently.
That's not the NYU one, is it?
All colleges.
Oh, you're breaking up again. Hello? Still breaking up? Yeah. Hello?
Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should just call this podcast Yo, You Hear Me.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just trying to spread his love, his message of love and happiness and all that to the college community. So
actually,
something different, do whatever.
Yeah.
Speaking of college, though, I signed up to take the hip hop course.
Oh wait, you still breaking up?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah. Hello? 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 Yo.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello?
Yo.
Yo.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
We gotta find a better way to do this podcast.
Yeah. I was thinking for right now, you might have to move to another location where you get better service. I'm on the house phone right now.
Okay, yeah, all right. I'm gonna try to move to the what do you call it? The living room.
Yeah. In case anybody is listening to this, I am in Baltimore, and Sin is in Oklahoma. So, we're doing this state-to-state thing, trying to get it popping.
I got you, man. All right, let's see if this works. All right, you can still hear me, right?
Yep, I hear you fine.
Cool. Yeah, man, like, I still have, like, issues with, like, texting around here and shit.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, I don't know what to say about it.
Oklahoma's in the dark ages. It's always in the news for something crazy. We can get into that later if you like.
Yeah, we can, man, like that shit just burnt me up.
Yeah, oh, man, yeah. We're going to get into that. But yeah, like I was saying, speaking of college, I signed up for the religion and hip hop course. And
what's up?
On Tuesday. It's a 6-week course, and I'm gonna get my certificate and everything, so I'll be abreast of all things religion and hip hop. And Bun B, he's one of the professors, and I forget the name of the other professor who has the doctorate. It's about Rice University, and it's through edx.org, which a lot of colleges have free online courses, and you can take them.
That's what's up.
Harvard and those other colleges, when they have a popular course, they'll put it up there for free. And they recently did college version of the course. So, I'm going to take it because I'm definitely interested in religion and, of course, hip-hop. So I guess we'll keep you abreast of how my studies are going.
That's a good look. Actually, speaking of that, I was invited to go to a lecture on hip-hop here, actually. I did that was it last week? Yeah, because that's when all the crazy shit happened. Yeah, so, I did it I went there last week. One of some undergrad student did it. He's from Oakland, and he's a cool dude. He had like a big ass Nefertiti necklace on and shit, and like long dreads going down to his back. And I think last week or the previous lecture rather, he focused on Azalea Banks' new album, and someone else's album. And this past lecture, it was on Tupac and Kendrick Lamar's song, the one where he's doing a new thing, about Brenda's Baby on Section 80.
That song.
Yeah, so pretty much it wasn't as hip hop as I thought it would be, but it was cool though. He pretty much connects all that shit to the Willie Lynch letter and slavery and how they treated slaves and stuff like that.
Hold on. So this is the thing. You being a historian, you probably have more insight on this, but I've heard, that the whole Willie Lynch letter was fake.
Yeah.
And then I've heard later on that, it was real. So what's the business with that?
I am not entirely sure, but I hear historians go back and forth on whether it's real or not, and they kind of base it around, I think, this one family in particular. Because I think originally, the letter was written to his daughter or something like that, or something crazy. But I know when I was in LA, it was a subject that was brought up, and I think two historians went kind of back and forth about the issue. So I'm not even sure, but the guy who lectured last week, he brought that up too and said that some people think it's fake, but he thinks it's real personally. And, he said it doesn't even matter if it's real or not.
Yeah. And they pretty much have, and they do that, that they say that pretty much is off. And, whether it's fake or not, it's I find it very, and, even if it's not fake, it's basically like a business plan, and it's another business plan situated as is basically the same business plan as slavery. They just had to keep switching it up and evolving it, and changing little things here and there to fit in with modern times, as the times change, but it's all the same thing. So,
yeah, that's true.
I don't know, and getting into music and all of that, with these contracts and these deals that a lot of people get exposed to, it's definitely very poignant. Whether it's real or fake, you can still take something from it,
Right. Yeah, I mean, Nas made Black Zombies for a reason.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was cool. I mean, I guess for the demographic of the classroom, it was, it was really good because, a lot of people in the class, as you can imagine, didn't know what the hell the Willie Lynch letter even was,
Wow.
let alone Kendrick Lamar to a certain extent.
Wow.
So yeah, it's so funny too because did you see the thing that he broke like a world record on the album with 9.6 million streams on Spotify?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, but there's a catch to it that it wasn't available on a lot of other services.
I mean, but pretty much people just use Spotify.
Yeah, I had a conversation about this last night. And
what other streaming services are there? There's Napster, and these are like dark age type people. But
Napster's still around? I thought that shit was dead some years ago. Hello? Yo.
Hello.
All right, got you.
All right, yeah. Okay, Napster's a part of Rhapsody, so yeah.
Okay. Now, I mean, how does I guess Google Music is the same thing, but it seems like no one cares about Google Music other than me.
I mean, I did the 30-day free trial of Google Music to compare it to Spotify, and it's very similar. But I was already with Spotify, and I got like a nice little student discount, and I would like to keep that, so I stuck with Spotify. But it's pretty much the same thing because everybody uses the same digital distribution types of services or whatever, so they go to the same places.
Okay. Well, I just use it to put my music on there so I can listen to it. So, I don't know if Spotify does that, but, I thought that was pretty ingenious.
No, Spotify doesn't do that.
Okay, well, it's annoying, though, because I was trying to listen to Supreme Clientele, and I've had to tell them twice, I think, already that, I want the explicit version because, originally my copy is explicit, of course, and they have yet to change it. So they make mistakes here and there about whether or not to make something edited or unedited.
Spotify kind of has the same problem sometimes because sometimes when you pull up an album on mobile, it'll pull up the edited version, and you have to pull up the desktop in order to switch it. But a lot of times that's for older albums. But like with the new Kendrick Lamar joint, I think the Clean, I don't know, the whole controversy with how that was released. The Clean came out first, but then the Dirty came out. So, but when I did finally pull it up on Spotify, it did play the explicit version. But yeah, what were you saying about the record he broke?
Yeah, he broke the world record or some shit on Spotify, like I guess streaming overall with 9.6 million streams, and the way the streams were counted, they count stream as someone who listens to the track all the way through.
Oh wow.
So, and I know Billboard last year they came out with that new way they count album sales, and they use streaming in some kind of weird way toward the album count. So if it's 9.6 million, I'm assuming that, I don't know, I guess that would be I'm sure it's probably platinum. I'm assuming.
And it's crazy because, I'm out here in Baltimore. I'm in these streets. and people don't know. It's kind of weird because people don't know about Kendrick Lamar. Like, people know about which came out like 7 months ago so that they could hit the Grammy deadline or whatever. And is on the album, but it's not even in the form that it is on the radio.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's kind of ill.
Yeah. It's real interesting to see how I don't know. It's like when you're really into music and you see how other people aren't into music. Like I'm coming to the realization that people still listen to the radio, and that's how they get their information about what's going on. And you can play some Kendrick Lamar, his new album, whatever. Like today, I was riding around with your mother, and I had Kendrick Lamar's album in the CD player, but somebody pulled up next to us bumping that new Meek Mill. And she was rocking to the Meek Mill. And I'm just like, oh man, like, there's definitely a thing of people who are into music and people who aren't into music. And it's like the same thing, like, I guess, dealing with my girl or whatever, like, I can talk to her about whatever is going on in music, which is like a big deal for the culture of hip hop. But I think what's happening is that I think that what's happening in hip hop is kind of what happened in jazz, to where it's like the culture of hip hop is going back to the people who care about the culture of hip hop. And the people who are outside of that only get the commercial stuff, which a lot of times, even hip-hop, it's like some pop type stuff. Or, but when you're immersed in the culture of hip-hop, like, you could tell somebody that J. Cole's album sold more albums than whoever's on the radio, but that doesn't mean anything to people who are in the culture of hip hop. But for us, it's like, oh man, it's a win. Like Kendrick Lamar's album dropped, and it's going to do such and such numbers, and it's crazy because it's like it's a weird dichotomy, because the people, like the artists that come out on a commercial type of level, but are still within the culture of hip hop, sell tremendously. More so than the people who are trying to get radio and all that. So I don't know, it's kind of weird to me right now, like kind of visions that are happening.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, well, I guess going back to the beginning, like being in this period right now, it's really weird, because you have this, I guess, this resurgence of hip hop, if you want to call it that, with J. Cole and Kendrick coming up, and I guess Drake, you want to put him there, and the thing is, it's like sometimes I know to a lot of people I seem like a crazy hater, especially when it comes to J. Cole and Kendrick. So, for example, I was talking to a friend of mine that I ran into last night for like a good 2 hours, and the first thing she asked me, "Have you heard Kendrick's album yet?" And I'm like, nah. After I get done talking to you, I'm going to do it. But we were talking, and actually, J. Cole, he's in Oklahoma City tonight.
Wow.
And so I asked her. I said, "Oh, well, she's going. A broken arm and everything." And then so she asked me if I was a J. Cole fan. I'm like, I mean, I am, but I have some issues with him, and she doesn't really understand like what I mean by that, and I really can't go in depth. So I just said, well, the old J. Cole from back in the day. She's like, what J. Cole from back in the day? And I'm like, so I got really excited. I was like, the warm up J. Cole, grown Simba. You know what I'm saying? She was like, no, I had no idea you even had these albums out, these mixtapes out. And I'm like, see? I said, see, that's what I'm talking about. And then like going back, at work, back in B-More, people told me I need to get on J. Cole's album because it's deep. And I don't know what that means, but the thing thing about this word deep when it comes to Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, I think sometimes, I guess to us as well, to me, it seems a bit shallow because, you know, I mean, all you gotta do is dip a finger into the underground, and like all that type of shit comes up.
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
but the thing is, they have an ability to present it in a way that is musical that people want to hear, and then, you know, because they got picked up by majors, I think their sound has become bigger, where they can do more and experiment more, and they're not afraid to do more, and they've created the lane to do more, so where they can take it to the next level, you know? Like, take Kendrick, for example.
Right.
His influences on Section 80. And it seemed like he was trying to get something out. Well, you know, in retrospect now, listening to this album, it seemed like he's trying to get something out, but way out the way he wants to get it out.
Mhm.
If that makes any sense.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it makes sense, but I don't know what to say about Kendrick and J, because, well, J. Cole is a bit more understandable, but, you know, I guess fully understanding how Kendrick Lamar became who he is. Because if you ask me, especially after this album, it seems like he's just going to be, he's just going to be a crossover artist, and he's so black that he's going to turn white, if that makes any sense.
Well, okay. First off, you said to me earlier, you said that Kendrick Lamar's album is too black, or something like that. What'd you say exactly?
Well, yeah. I did say that it's too black.
Agree with you on a certain level, but part of that is based upon my expectations of what this album is going to be.
I mean, well, when I said that, it was a bit vague because like when I did, I just got up. But what I meant by is that toward the end, because that, like, the whole eye thing was like, it was ingenious, like, you know, he did it like live or whatever he did with it.
Yeah.
And when he has like this little long monologue because people were fighting in the crowd or whatever, and then he goes into the word, you know, nigga, and then he says that, you know, he's a negus.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, I could live without stuff like that because, you know,
man, see, when I heard that, I was like, yes, like, he's bringing it to people, like, people know. And it's funny because I was riding with my mother earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she said something about, you know, I was playing it, you know, my mother is, you know, she doesn't really deal with hip hop at all on any type of level. And she said something about, you know, the N-word or whatever, and I was just like, you know, I told her, I'm a neat, like, you know, it's negus, and she started laughing, but it was some real stuff that he was saying, like, you know, where that word comes from, and, you know, there's a whole debate right now about the use of it, and I think that, you know, knowing the history, it makes it more, like, it's like, oh, man, like, you know, I was kind of on the fence about, you know, am I going to stop using this word? Am I not? And I still try to kind of eliminate it a little bit, but at the same time, you know, when I say it, I mean, like, yo, what up, King? Like, peace, King? Like, Negus, king. That's what the Ethiopian kings were. They were the Negus, the Grand Negus. Even in Star Trek, I don't know, I'm a Star Trek nerd, but the Ferengi, their king was the Grand Negus. Like, that's what they called him. So it's like, I'm the Grand Negus. Like, salute me, salute me as the king that I am. So I appreciated that. I don't know that, I could see how you could see how it's a little corny or whatever.
Okay, and this is what I hate putting it this way, but I guess me. Well, I know I can be very picky. So, again, like the same thing like with the hip hop lecture I went to. Mm-hmm. It was good. I kind of already know that stuff, but it was good for for the audience. So, I guess for a general audience, it was perfect. But then at the same time, people aren't going to stop saying nigga. And when I heard he did the whole thing with the Negus thing, I'm thinking like. The thing I can see this shit backfiring, and then people are going to say, "Oh my God, Kendrick Lamar, he's a certified nigga. Look at the album cover, and he's even saying to stop saying nigger." I can see Don Lemon and all those other type of corny ass people just jumping all over it on that term. But then musically, I think we talked about this before, like, in hip hop and, spreading some type of message is always that fine line between being corny and clever. Right. Until this day, no one has done it best other than J. Rue the Damager, because he literally walked that fine line of being corny and, corny or clever, but he did it perfectly. Because like on the bitch song. I think on the first verse, if he like maybe did 2 more bars, that shit would have been corny. Like, or maybe it's like 3 verses or whatever. It would have been like really corny. But he really walked the line really, and he gotta have nice beats too. And Kendrick did, but that eye shit was kind of corny to me too.
Like, for a lot of people, like for me, and even me, like when I first told you how I felt about Kendrick's album, it's only been like 2 days, but it's grown on me in a different. The I record grew on me over time, because when I first heard it, I was like, I don't really like the sample and all that type of stuff, but it really grew on me. I still really like the switch up on it, which I'm mad that they take out on the radio version, but like, just, I don't know, like, musically, I think Kendrick really took it there. And it's funny, I think, that you say that it's too black, because, before the album came out, he was, there was talk of it being unapologetically black and all this other type of stuff. So I'm like, yeah. And I felt the same way about it before I heard the Kanye album, when I heard New Slaves. And I was like, yeah, like, he's about to really bring that Dead Prez type of thing back. Like, yeah. And then Kendrick's album opens up with something about some pussy or something. I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, what in the world is going on right now? Like, so I wasn't really banging with it, too. And then, like, people were saying this is so musically different and everything like that. And I was kind of pissed because Snoop Dogg did that shit with Dame Funk. And I'm like, this album, first off, I wanted bars. Like, I don't know, I'm in the mood right now. I want to hear some bars. I've been watching battles, and I really want to hear some bars, especially if I ain't heard from you since 2012. And dropped the Control verse. I was kind of upset when I first heard the album, because I wanted more bars and music. And he didn't deliver bars on this album, I don't feel like.
See, another thing about Kendrick he can rap his ass off and you know it. So like the very first interlude, track number 2, that crazy ass spoken word shit, and he's going off. It's ill, but then it just brought back that whole thing about the fast rapper syndrome. So whenever someone hears someone rapping really fast, they're going just to go run over and get that shit.
Right.
And so I thought that maybe, it didn't really help out for, I guess, the stereotype of, someone who raps fast. But, I guess within, Kendrick Lamar is like a combination of he can rap fast, he's lyrical, and at the same time he is on some type of crazy black power type shit. But after I listened to the album and I let it like resonate a little bit, it actually brought me back to Kanye and his album. And I was thinking in my head because, well, as we know, I guess as you and me know, I guess for the audience, I'm a big fan of the iceberg theory. And so that's another thing about Kendrick, that he just doesn't let things, I guess, just speak for themselves. He has to say it out. He has to say it out loud for you. And I think to a certain extent, going back to Kanye, although some of that shit was just like really niggardly for no particular reason, certain things of the album, but like New Slaves and the other song, it wasn't as, it was lyrical. The beats were alright, but then at the same time, he did have a weird message to it that I really don't think anyone really no one, I guess the general audience didn't really get with totally. But then I guess, come to think about it, that's why Yeezus went gold and J. Cole outsold him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know, like, what I was expecting was more bars and more blackness. And the blackness that I got was more, his blackness to me was more descriptive of everything that's going on in the black world and not necessarily on some revolutionary type all the time, like boom. It was just more, I don't know, and I think it's kind of a good thing, but it wasn't what I was looking for. But his blackness was balanced, because he talked about pussy, and I think maybe he said something about some chicken or something. But and I think that's what gets him over that, that commercial hump, because if you are going back to the first album, he had Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, and I guess that's some type of new Negro spiritual. And actually, I think for this podcast, I think that's going to be a term that's used a lot. My bad, nigga spiritual. Nigga spiritual.
So, so maybe we should just do like a segment sooner or later about what that really means. But so you had Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, and then you even had like the joint with Drake. But on the first album, a lot of it was about pussy. The Shireen, aka Master Splinter type shit, and I think sometimes he has that J. Cole syndrome, just randomly talking about a girl in a verse, and sometimes I'll give him credit that his shit actually makes sense, but the early J. Cole, some of that shit didn't make sense.
Yeah. And people who don't know, we're talking about like J. Cole. It's like, especially with the earlier projects, it was really rapping about some deep stuff, and then he just kept talking about a girl out of the blue, about pussy.
Man.
And what's dope about J. Cole though is that he kind of rested on Lights Please. But that's some real type stuff. But I think the dope thing about Kendrick's album, his first album, Good Kid, Mad City, or if you want to consider his second album or whatever, some people might consider it his fourth album. But it told a story that was about that, so it was a place for that. Now, this album, I don't know if you peeped it, and I'm really trying to break it down, but I don't understand this whole thing with Lucy.
I think, because I was trying to figure it out too. If I had to take a really wild guess, maybe it's short for Lucifer and the devil.
I was thinking that too, and the music industry is Lucy, Lucifer, or whatever, because I think I saw like a breakdown of this before, like how this album reflects his life as it's going on now, but in the metaphorical type of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, it's the whole thing about the getting the pussy. I don't know. It's like this whole thing about how, like, each track kind of breaks down to what he's going through now. But that part of it wasn't exactly coherent to me, but it was still kind of dope because it sounded good. Over some jazz. So yeah, I was rocking with it.
Okay, now, it's really funny how, like, the West Coast is bringing back
everything.
Bringing back, like, every aspect of, golden age, golden age hip-hop, that acid jazz type stuff, Tribe Called Quest, neo soul. I heard someone say that this album, Kendrick Lamar's album, is the rap version of Black Messiah. And which is
talking about the Angelo joint.
Yeah.
Like you can play them back to back.
Yeah, I mean you can. But I mean I don't know. It's something about.
Now this is the thing to me. Okay, this is what I really want to talk about. Is that this Kendrick Lamar album? It doesn't sound like a Kendrick Lamar album to me.
Okay, all right. So, are you about to talk about the sonics of the album? Like the production of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, my theory of this album is that this album is like a Roots album, where like Black Thought is the rapper, but like Kendrick is the rapper, but this album isn't just his album. I mean, Thundercat does his thing on the bass. Bilal, Soundwave, like this album is put together by a group of people. It's not put together by one person. And
you can tell.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a full band experience, and like it's really like a collaboration of minds, I feel like. And I've heard that, it's inspired by Flying Lotus. I don't know if you peep. I saw some things about Flying Lotus. He talked about how the album came to be, even though he only produced the first track. That's what he's credited for. But basically, he gave Kendrick a folder of beats, and Kendrick came. I think he recorded to all of them, or most of them. And the first track is the only one that made it on the album. But after that, that's how he came up with the whole concept after the Flying Lotus. And Flying Lotus, he's in the same crew with Thundercat, who does like a lot of stuff for TDE, and so that whole Terrence Martin and Flying Lotus and Thundercat type of thing is popping off.
That makes a lot of sense. Like the concept of the album, and then the concept of Flying Lotus's last album. Like the whole idea of death, and and then Kendrick explains about the caterpillar, cocoon, and the butterfly and shit.
Yeah.
Never thought about that.
And so, like, to me, it really seems like a collaboration album. And it seems like, on another note, I was kind of like, I always feel like I have to defend hip-hop to my mother. So, it seems like hip-hop is taking this weird turn of how it was back in the day where instrumentalists are getting their shine now. So you have Thundercat on bass, you have Flying Lotus, and this isn't just Kendrick, this is hip-hop in general. Flying Lotus is a multi-instrumentalist. Madlib plays mad instruments. Adrian Young, who's been popping, he plays mad instruments. Terrence Martin plays the horns. Trombone Shorty, of course, plays the trombone. So you have these people who play instruments who are really getting shine right now and who are being credited as features right now. And I think that is a big step in hip hop because it's, adding to the legitimacy in the mainstream world, and it's showing that black people can play instruments.
That's very true. But well, I guess a brief side note, like going back to Thundercat, like I remember I was still in undergrad, and I was sitting around. I just wanted to listen to some new shit, and Thundercat came up, and the main reason why I even thought about getting the album was because I happened to have the Thundercat shirt on.
Wow.
And so I go and get it, and like that shit, it was like fucking crazy in my head. I'm like, oh my god, I know this dude's gonna pop off. And then so I was kind of like waiting for this dude to pop off, and I'm like, cause he was like one of those people that will always pop in my head, like, what is he doing? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think he didn't come out with another. I think he did. I'm not sure, but then when you were telling me about Thundercat and his collaboration with TDE, even before Kendrick's album, I was pretty happy about. But so has he been there like a fixture in TDE for like a good minute before they really started popping off?
I don't know. Like, I'm pretty into TDE, but I think that he's part of their production team, if I'm not mistaken. I think they have like Soundwave, Thundercat, and then they have Digiphonics. I think that's the main production type of thing that they stick to.
Now, isn't T-Minus on there too?
T-Minus?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because T-Minus, he be doing like that shit for like Lil Wayne, and I don't know, like I only pretty much know T-Minus from Lil Wayne, and then he did the joint for Kendrick, but...
Now, Lil Wayne did he do I'm Single?
I don't know, I can look it up real quick, but he did like some big song for Lil Wayne, and I think he did that joint for Lupe, that song off of Lasers. We gonna be alright.
Okay, a song I don't like.
Yeah, speaking of Lupe, his album is dope.
Yeah, my neighbor, he gave it to me, and so I burnt it on my computer. I have yet to listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's dense. Like, I haven't really gotten through everything, and I have my certain tracks that I always come back to. But Lupe, he did his thing on that. It's just very dense lyrically to sift through all that shit.
Okay, all right. Well, if this album is dope, then I guess it's safe to assume that he stopped climbing mountains, because that shit was crazy. I'm telling, like, honestly, it seemed like when he started going crazy when he started climbing mountains.
Yeah. I mean, he brought it back to the hood a little bit with this one, because he definitely has his hood records, like the Piece of Man Don't Come Here No More, and it got like a kind of up-to-date type of beat and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like his flow is on point, everything is on point with this album that Lupe dropped. So I'm not, it's definitely in contention for the top 5 albums of the year so far in 2015. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I still gotta really go through J. Cole's album. Like, I tried to, and I just couldn't. I don't know. I'm just not in the mood to listen to it.
I mean, J. Cole, he's doing a lot of singing and stuff on it, which is weird because J. Cole always sounded like the angry type of rapper, and Drake is more the singy type of rapper. But then Drake's album, it sounds so aggressive and hard.
Yeah. So, going back to the song, because I had some issues with the sonics of Kendrick's album.
Okay.
And the thing is, like, the sonics are amazing. Like, that shit is crazy. Now, I have two things. Did Dr. Dre, did he mix down Good Kid, Mad City?
I believe so, but I'm not. Matter of fact, I think Mixed by Ali probably did it, but I remember him saying that he got tips from Dr. Dre and stuff.
Okay, because you can tell that this album, Dr. Dre didn't really do shit mixing wise, even if he did anything. Well, I'll be very surprised if he did, because it was a really synthy album, and the sounds like really big and like in your face. And the thing about Kendrick is his voice doesn't really have that type of, you really can't penetrate the instrumentation that was going on. So sometimes I felt like his verses, his voice period was kind of lost in it, unless they put some type of like crazy decay or echo or reverb on it like they usually do now. I'm noticing.
You know what? I totally agree with you. That and there's one track in particular. It might have been the first song where he seemed lost in the mix of everything that was going on. And when I was listening to it, I was thinking, as an engineer, how I would mix that track to make it sound better, because I'm dealing with that type of thing with some of the tracks that I'm working on myself. And, my conclusion was that was probably the best that they could get it, and so I wasn't mad at it. But I do hear some Dr. Dre, like in King Kunta. Them synths and everything that comes in, that sounds Dr. Dre-ish. And then at the end of the first track, it sounds Dr. Dre-ish. And that was kind of when he had, Dr. Dre had his little interlude. So maybe he did something on that.
Okay, now, because I was going to say that I think, for me, the King Kunta is the best song, and it's because you can hear him, and the bass isn't as in your face as, for example, the very first song. And so I don't know, maybe if they, turn the bass down or out.
The thing about Dr. Dre is his beats, especially like when you go to 2001, when like he was really credited with his clarity of mixing and everything and how creepy it sounds because it's so clear. Like, those beats were so minimal. Like, he only put in the beat exactly what you needed at that time to get the emotion across that you needed to feel. And because there were so few elements, but he was able to make it sound so big, it was easier to mix,
You're right. And see, that's another issue. That's the main issue about this album is that because compared to like Good Kid, Mad City, although I didn't think it was the most, airy album sonically, it still had like a lot of space in between, even with like the crackles from the vinyl that you were hearing in the background, but it just fitted with the grittiness of this Mad City that he was trying to portray.
Right.
But like with this, it's way too much shit going on. Because even to a extent, like the interlude was a bit too, like the very first interlude was a bit too much, kind of, sort of.
I think it was a bit too much to be so early in the album. Like, it was just like, my dick is not free, like.
But then
some shit like that. Like,
the placement of it was okay because I guess it's a way to get someone into the album, like a general listener, but then at the same time it is something, as black men, it's something that we do go through.
Yeah, that's true. But like I'm trying to think, I was thinking about something I just kind of forgot. No. But I think that oh yeah, so like with the mixing of this album versus like Good Kid, Mad City, I was thinking this album immediately made me think of, and I'm going to pronounce this guy's name wrong, but it's Mulatu Astatke, the Ethiopian jazz legend or whatever. And he did the Ethiopics Volume 4 or whatever, which many people sample from. And it's basically like Ethiopian jazz. And when I heard the album, it immediately made me think of that. And I've kind of been bumping that for a minute and going into his catalog. And the sonics of Kendrick's album kind of sound like the sonics of Mulatu. And so I wasn't mad. And if people aren't up on Mulatu, that's the guy who they sampled. I don't know if you remember the Nas and Damian Marley joint, the single they did, dun, 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 as we enter that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's like the fifth time. I always forget this damn album.
I love
oh my god. I gotta go back and listen to that.
But yeah, like that dude, he's actually sampled a lot in hip hop that I've heard, like just on the Ethiopics Volume 4. But the songs to the album kind of remind me of the songs of a jazz album, to where when you're mixing some jazz, you don't really do too much to it. You just let it kind of sit and let the dynamics kind of take over. And so, like, Kendrick's voice is more so looked at as an instrument in it, and the whole totality of the thing, which is kind of brings me back to him not being necessarily the center of the album, but it's more so the whole collective of everybody who's working on it. So that's interesting. And another thing that's interesting too is, have you heard Kanye West All Day?
No, I was going to watch the video earlier, but I have yet to hear anything off that album. Yeah.
Oh man, like that Kanye West All Day, that record is dope, and like 20-something people are credited, and Kendrick is one of them. And it's kind of like how I think he was saying something about like a Motown when everybody's credited and all of that type of stuff, and
no one gets no money.
Yeah, and who knows who wrote the lyrics or whoever, whatever, but, the type of process that probably even though his sound is completely different, that type of process is probably the same type of process they went through with this, where it's a collective of people in a group all in a room making a record. So, yeah.
I mean, I think I'm trying off my head, since I'm in the living room, I'm trying to go off my head about Kanye's discography and the time that he has in between albums. And I know that, I think, between from college dropout to graduation, it was like pretty steady, but then he kind of like fell off to a certain extent. And I'm wondering if one of the reasons why he was really amped to get back into the studio is because of the J. Cole's and Kendrick Lamar's, and
that's a good thing, which I was going to bring up. Let me go to Kanye West's Twitter account, right?
Okay.
So when Kendrick's album dropped, people were saying, hold on, I gotta go to the account real quick.
Why are you going to the account? Real quick, the same article that had the thing about Kendrick Lamar breaking the record on Spotify. They had a little screenshot of Taylor Swift's account.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh, you saw that? Oh, okay, yeah, that was crazy.
But they have a weird relationship because Taylor Swift, I think she did a video of her reciting Backseat Freestyle from the first album, and she's a big Kendrick fan, and so then Kendrick, I think he was on Big Boy's Neighborhood when he was on whatever station he was on, in LA, Kendrick got on there and he styled over Taylor Swift's record. They have a weird thing. So Taylor Swift just recently tweeted about Kendrick's album, which is kind of dope. But when Kendrick's album dropped, Kanye started tweeting nude photos of his wife, Kim Kardashian.
Okay, all right. So another weird connection is because a lot of my shit, at least right now, because I haven't been on the blogs lately on Feedly, but through Vlad TV, and I see that Azealia Banks, she dropped a nude photo from her Playboy thing, and I was thinking that maybe Kanye did that because of Azealia Banks's nude photo, which it wasn't all that good, but still.
I actually haven't seen it yet, but I was actually interested to see. Because I got a little weird crush on Azealia Banks just because she's from New York and she be talking that shit.
in my head when I heard she was doing the Playboy thing, I thought that it was going to be something. I thought it was going to be like kind of classic Playboy, like pretty much like her just naked and just bearing everything, but it's really not like that.
Oh, I mean, she's a skinny chick too, so I wasn't expecting like too much, but I don't know. Her album was dope, minus like the first 3 tracks.
Yeah, so I gotta do that too.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Azealia Banks' album. For all the stuff that she talks and all the criticism that she gets, I think that she backs it up musically, but she just talks too much to really get it popping the way that it should be presented. But yeah, it's like Kanye. He started posting photos of Kim nude, but then he still gave Kendrick his props. And then, like, his last tweet was something about, I'm waiting for it to come up, but he said something about how, thank you, Kendrick, for the inspiration and all that type of stuff. So.
Okay.
And then Kendrick is credited on Kanye's single, so I don't know what to think of that. But, I mean, it's definitely something there. Artists kind of battle with each other musically all the time, so I definitely think that there's something there.
Well, I was like, I was thumbing through like the credits on Kendrick's album, and I see that J. Cole, he has some type of weird credit on the album, but I don't recall hearing his name at all. So maybe it was production. I mean, hearing his voice.
No, the only 2 rappers who were on the album were Snoop Dogg and Rhapsody.
But if you go like deep into the credits, like J. Cole is, I think it's him. It's like he's like in like track 5 or some shit.
That's interesting. And what's interesting is, I wonder if that J. Cole and Kendrick album is ever going to come out.
I don't think, because actually, speaking of that, because I was thinking about that like a while ago, and to me, they're kind of like J. Cole. I mean, J. Cole and Kendrick, they're like the new form of like Nas and AZ. Like they're cool, but they're never going to do another song ever again in their lives. Oh no, wait, they've never done a song, have they? Right?
Yeah, they have. Kendrick was on the hook to Forbidden Fruit, I believe, on J. Cole's last album, not the new recent one, but the other one. They had a Tribe Called Quest sample when he was talking about apple juice dripping from the girl's lips or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But besides that, J. Cole's done some production from Kendrick, and apparently they have songs together which have never been released. So, that's something up in the air. But, and it's funny because people always talk about, the competition between these rappers and everything, but I just saw that J. Cole was going to be on Drake's OVO Fest. So,
Well, it's weird, like, I mean, if you think of hip-hop nowadays, you think of Jay-Z, J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake. And technically, minus Jay-Z, but all these people have come out around the same time. You had J. Cole came out first. Yeah. He had a little bit of shine. Then Drake came out, although I kind of feel like it kind of died down, but it's Drake, so it's still like resonating within the minds of all the screaming teenage girls. And then you have Kendrick, who came out with this fucking monster, and now Kanye is about to come out whenever that comes out.
Yeah, which could be any day. You never know with these surprise releases. But the thing is, what's weird is, I forget what song it was, but I was in the car the other day, and my girl had on 92Q, and they played a J. Cole record. And I was like, wow, they play this on the radio? Because I never know what's really going on in the commercial world of hip-hop.
Right.
I was like, wow, they're playing something off this J. Cole album. Like, that's different. So, like, I wonder what songs, I'm not into the radio, but I wonder what, like, they have to be playing some Drake song on the radio, probably Energy. Either that or the joint with Lil Wayne. I forget what that's called, but it was on the Sorry for the Wait too, and there was another version that's on Drake's album mixtape thing that came out.
Okay. Well, so we already had Actually, I guess we didn't have it. But so we were supposed to have the 3-headed behemoth. So do you think this is the 4-headed behemoth? In some type of abstract way?
J. Cole, Drake, Kendrick, and Kanye.
Yeah.
I mean, right now it seems like Kanye is the old nigga trying to keep up. But I do believe that that's just in our circles because the regular people don't even know who these people are. Like, I know this, I test things with my girl or whatever, and I just be like, yo, To Pimp a Butterfly came out. It's like, what? To Pimp a Butterfly, people, I think regular people don't know that these things are coming out and that this music is going on. Right now, you know what's popping right now?
What?
Trap Queen.
Oh, I came across that on Black. Wait, don't tell me. It's the guy. He doesn't have like an eye, right? He only has one eye.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Fetty Wap.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because
Jersey.
Okay, because people were talking about how. Yeah.
And like 50 was talking about how you from New York, New Jersey, and you talking about Trap Queen? You talking about trapping up the bando? Now, I'm not trying to judge people on their, usage of slang and where they come from and all that other type of stuff. I mean, it's kind of weird, but A$AP Rocky does the Houston thing and he does it kind of well. So I'm not judging or anything like that, but it was just funny to hear 50 say it like that. But yeah, that Fetty Wap joint is interesting.
Well, do you like it?
I mean, for what it is, yeah. I mean, to me, that song, Trap Queen, takes me back to 2005, 2006, when Laffy Taffy was out. Okay, man,
I feel like man, all right, that's a whole nother, Fable's a whole nother conversation, man. All right,
yeah.
So the thing about 50 Cent and this whole trap thing is that he really can't get mad. Well, maybe it has something to do with it, because if you go back to which I was listening, I made a Danny Brown playlist. It's not complete yet though, but I have 2 joints off of the Hawaiian Snow joint with him and Tony Yayo, and they have a song called Trap Ball on there.
Oh yeah, I remember that joint. That joint was hard.
Yeah, it was hard. Yeah, I had Trap Ball and I had Trippin' with the one with Lil B on it.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like it really seems like there's some weird animosity, especially based on that Hot 97. Was it Hot 97 or it was Hot 97. The interview when he was talking about Yayo and Lloyd Banks, of how Lloyd Banks needs to get up because he was all depressed because his father died and shit.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Like I just listened to. I've been keeping up with G-Unit because I'm a huge G-Unit fan. So I don't really see too much animosity. It's just grown men have their own opinions and things, and I think there's a difference between. I don't know. I think there's a difference between you using a term when you're established and you have your own career and you're kind of using it versus, you're from an area that doesn't use this type of terminology traditionally, and you're coming out with it because it sounds like, and even if it's not true, but you get the impression of it, you get the impression that you're just following trends. And it's interesting because, the song came on and my girl was in the car, so we had a conversation about it. And I was telling her about the 50 Cent interview, and I was like, and she kind of made me feel like an old man because I was like, like real talk, because I was like, he's from Jersey and he's from New York, and you talking about Trap Queen and trapping up the bando. Mind you, my girl don't know. She's like, what is trapping out the bando? Exactly. What is trapping out the bando? And so it's just like, what is trapping out the bando from where you're from? And, we're more south than they are. So it's like, where are you getting this from? Are you getting this from actual experience, or are you getting this from listening to other people's songs and hearing that it's popping and working for them, so you're using it in your own songs?
Well, I mean, yeah. Also, in the Little B diss video from the two Baltimore niggas, they use trap quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, trap, it's a ubiquitous word now. Like,
yeah.
You can refer, I think that trap now has transcended regional boundaries, kind of, but I don't think bando has.
Yeah, the bando hasn't, but
bando was a trap house, and a trap house is something that we never said here in Baltimore. But Baltimore, is a bandwagon city. When niggas would sound like Wu-Tang, Baltimore niggas would sound like Wu-Tang. And when niggas were sounding like Gucci Mane, Baltimore niggas would sound like Gucci
Mane. Man, do you remember? It was like in 2008, 2009 when I came back home for undisclosed reasons. It was a random blog post. I think it was on it was on Cocaine Blunts. Is that still around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they post here and there.
The random shit. It was like whatever it was. It was like 3 random Baltimore joints from the 90s. You remember that?
I don't remember that, but I'm gonna have to go look that up.
It's gonna drive me crazy because I had the songs and I saved them because I figured that like these are gems, and just to be from Baltimore, you gotta have this shit. And I don't have them anymore. It sometimes I think about it and it kills me, but it was like straight on. Like it was one song was on some Wu-Tang shit, the other one was on some Tribe type shit, and the other one was on, surprisingly enough, although they're kind of the same but different in their own ways, was on some Diggable Planets type shit. So yeah, man. I don't know what it is about this city, but I don't know, Baltimore wise though. I don't think. I guess they just call the trap house a crack house. I never really heard a term other than the crack house or the house.
Old house or like it's just a spot.
I was listening to. I'm sure you listened to this one. I don't remember which one it was. Maybe it was a random one, Epstein. But Peter Rosenberg was talking about when he came to Baltimore. I never thought about this shit before though. And he was talking about how like there are so many signs for like I-95 way before you can get close to it. I never thought about it.
Like, it's like warning, you're entering Baltimore.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know.
That's kind of crazy.
And what's crazy is like, in my music industry experiences, I deal with a lot of people from New York, and then I've dealt with a lot of people from Virginia, and everybody's story is the same. They all come to Baltimore, and like a lot of them have only been here one time, but it's always they were getting robbed, they got robbed, about to get robbed, or it was this crazy thing about somebody being killed. And the one story that I will forever remember is when I was chilling with, I don't know if you remember when I was dealing with Bliss FM. Yeah, shout out to them, they're dope. Out of Northern Virginia. But they were talking about how they came to Baltimore one time and they were down near the harbor walking to the street, and they were walking down some street by themselves and there was nobody there, and some dudes came around the corner and talking about, the next person I see, I'm going to kill him. And then like, I really want to defend Baltimore, my city, you know. But then when dumb shit happens, I don't be wanting to be associated with Baltimore. Like today, I don't know if you heard 3 people at Morgan got stabbed.
No. This is the craziest thing about Morgan, man, because, like, whenever I'm there, I'm just like, man, this is, like, kind of nice. And when I hear this crazy shit that goes on, you know, I just can't see it. Although, it did get kind of sketchy the time I went to Strictly Hip Hop one time.
At the old studio or the new one?
It was a new one.
Oh, man.
I can't imagine what the old one was.
Huh? Oh, no, you went to the... I don't think you remember, but I'm pretty sure you went to the old one before. The old one was very sketchy. And my girl at the time, like, I remember I was interning there, and, you know, one time she brought me some food, and she said she would never come back. It was pretty sketchy. I mean, Baltimore rap is pretty sketchy at times.
You said Baltimore rap?
Yeah.
All right, so I remember on like a taping that I did of the it was a long time ago on the test bin. I had to be like, I think I was still in middle school. It was still on Baker Street. And remember that one song? It was like, be more where we see more and we G more. If you don't want more, boy, you better detour.
Yeah, I remember that song.
That's a Baltimore classic, man.
I mean, I don't know. Baltimore's always in the news for certain things. And that's why, like, you know, when I went to college, it was like when you say you're from Baltimore, people start to react differently towards you. Like, you know, I remember when I was in college, I went to Howard University for a minute, and people were like, oh, yeah, they told me don't mess with nobody from Baltimore because they all got AIDS. Or, like, you know, like, even dealing with, you know, more street type of things, you start to realize the reputation that Baltimore holds. And then Jadakiss said it in a record one time. He said, I got my Baltimore nigga looking out in the back or some shit like that.
Oh, he did say that shit. I remember that.
Yeah, and it's like, I think I was with some New York niggas one time, and they're like, yeah, you know, you always gotta have that one Baltimore nigga. And then, like, DMX, he said one time, matter of fact, I think it was on Stop, Drop, Rough Riders Anthem. He said, oh, man, what'd he say on there? He said, I'm on my, hey, something, on my Baltimore shit. Like,
oh, yeah.
And it's basically what Baltimore niggas said back at the time when they were about to rob you. What was it?
I mean, I don't know. I hear that a lot of niggas say a lot of shit when they were about to rob your ass.
Yeah. And, like, you know, back in the day, damn, I'm old now. I can say back in the day, mind you, I got a gray. I was monitoring the grays in my beard. Yeah, back in the day, when I was at Howard, I used to hang with New York niggas, and so the flea market was popping, and they had certain areas of the flea market had certain contraband items that may or may not have been legitimate. And if they were legitimate, may or may not have been stolen. So, I taught some New York niggas how to get to the Baltimore flea market, Patapsco. It's like Cherry Hill type area. For those who were uninformed, I taught them how to get there using public transportation from D.C. And they used to always wake up early in the morning and go, and they would get these jeans, and they would sell them on eBay. And one day, they woke up late, and they went there in the middle of the day, and they were about to get robbed. And niggas chased them, and the niggas was following them with guns, and they could see the guns. The niggas was following them with guns out, until they were able to hop on a bus or the fleet or just like a cab or something, and they were able to escape. They were like, yo, we never going there ever again. And from New York, and they're like, yo, it was trees out there. I thought it was nice.
And that's the crazy thing about Baltimore is that, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm so used to it, but for a lot of, outsiders, Baltimore has it just has a distinct culture and this weird type of, vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And, because usually at least once a week, I had to tell someone I'm from Baltimore and I get some type of weird reaction, like, oh my God, this must be culture shock to you, or something like that. But, I still remember the time when I was in Camden, with my ex, and we was looking around. It was on a Sunday, and she was like, "Isn't this terrible?" And I'm looking around. I mean, there was no trash on the ground. I mean, it was pretty nice, to be honest. I mean, but mind you, it was maybe 9 o'clock in the morning. But the thing about around the ways in Baltimore, niggas out at 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what the niggas in Camden were, but at the same time, still there were maybe 2 junkies around. And no trash no trash at all. Porches were clean. There were no random babies outside barefoot. It looked pretty nice.
Yo, I remember it was recently. I was driving through Lexington Market, right? And I'm a big Walking Dead fan. Yo, I really felt like I was in Walking Dead. These zombies. And, it's a lot of drug addicts. If you're not familiar with addicts down Lexington Market. And then there's a lot of people who are recovering addicts on the drug program, because the drug program is right there. So you're driving, and it's you're trying to drive through the street, but it's mad people just in the street, and you can't really push your way through. With the car, you really gotta bogart your way through all these zombies, and it really feels like you're in an episode of Walking Dead sometimes. And the same thing when you're driving down Park Heights sometimes. When you start to get down, in the hood of Park Heights, it's please get off the street. Please, I will run you. And the crazy thing is, what's messed up is, I could run you over and kill you and nobody would care.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get charged for that shit.
Yes, there's a fucked up aspect about certain things that go on. I mean, shit. How about, speaking of niggas walking in the street, I'm going to counseling tomorrow. That's my first day of counseling. I set that shit up last week. I figured it'd be something for me to do, and maybe something more constructive to do with myself. Should be interesting. But yeah,
I mean, it's like a mental health counseling, or what type of counseling?
It's for bereavement. So they even say on the website for some reason that bereavement is it's considered rather short counseling, but I guess it depends on the case. But I gotta go there tomorrow. I gotta sign paperwork, and then I do a 30-minute screening or whatever like that with the counselor.
All right. So speaking of that type of shit,
okay.
Have you peeped any of the Charles Hamilton interviews?
No, I didn't know that he had recent ones.
Oh my goodness, yes, he does. He recently did one with Angie Martinez, which I just saw, but I haven't had a chance to listen to. But
really,
yes.
Huh. Wow.
But he had an interview with Sway, and he had an interview with Rosenberg and stuff from Hot 97.
Damn.
And
hello. Hello. Hello.
hello.
Yes.
Yo, you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Like, we've talked about Charles Hamilton many times privately, and, you know, you said, well, I don't know, like, he's having this resurgence right now, and he's going to be on the season finale of Empire tomorrow night. I don't know if you've been watching Empire, but I have.
I haven't.
Yeah, I've definitely been up on Empire, and tomorrow is a 2-hour season finale, so I'm definitely going to be in the building for that. And Charles Hamilton is performing his new single with Roc Nation's own Rita Ora, New York Raining, and he's been doing interviews and things, and he has a new deal with Universal Republic, people he's with. And he talked about going to the mental hospital and actually finding a girlfriend there and being in a padded room. And he was on medication at the time of this said interview. He's on medication, which, you know, I don't want to promote a stigma of mental illness or anything. These are real issues and everything that people have. But Charles Hamilton is definitely an interesting character, and I'm kind of glad. I'm definitely glad to see him get his second shot at it. You know, because he's dope. And I don't know, like, you probably, I guess you haven't seen his freestyles, but like, he's on another level lyrically right now, especially off the top of the dome. Like, he does some shit that I've never seen ever. And
hey, hold on real quick.
All right.
Yo. Yeah, man. I don't understand how these other people last, man. Fucking bathroom breaks. I mean, I know. I don't know about Warren Epstein. I know they do like a lot of shit in the morning, but Combat Jack, the way they be trying to get it in, I don't see how they last unless they edit that shit out.
I mean, I've heard Warren Epstein's where they've taken bathroom breaks in the middle.
Okay, I have yet to hear one. Yeah, all right.
Oh, man,
So Charles Hamilton, lyrically.
Yeah, lyrically, I mean, he's providing them bars on a freestyle level that I have rarely seen. Like, that shit be like, damn, like, I need to be on my shit on some everyday type shit. Like, this dude is really killing it. Now, I did listen to some of the recent tracks he's released, and I'm just like, I don't know. But on a straight bar for bar type of rapper, he's kind of killing it.
Okay. That's what's... I mean, I listened to, I think maybe, I'm not sure if it was like his first song, like Back Out or whatever you want to call it, but, you know, it was, I think it had something to do with like Michael Brown or like, you know, one of those black people getting shot. Damn, it's fucked up saying it that way. One of those black people getting shot. But anyway, it was like a little snippet. And, you know, I mean, it was cool, but it just seemed like a regular track. It didn't have that Charles Hamilton vibe because remember when he fucked up. I think it was like kind of like after he got punched in the face by the girl, and he went into like that deep drug shit or whatever was going on with him. And then he got his shit together, and his goal got his shit together. He came back out, and he had the song Gauchos, produced by Jim Johnson.
Yeah.
And people thought, whatever his label, they thought it was going to like pop off. But I don't understand. Niggas don't know what Gauchos are, first of all. And it sounded like a throwaway Lollipop track because if I can recall properly, it had like the same exact Lollipop drums.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It seemed like a last-ditch effort to get it commercially.
Yeah, it was like, it's like, don't, or whatever, however Lollipop. Matter of fact, that's another conversation. Because I was talking to my brother about Lil Wayne's documentary.
Documentary?
Okay, all right. Well, first, it was like Gauchos, and actually, the shit he wasn't even talking about Gauchos. What up?
No. I remember like listening to the track once or twice, and I was like, damn, this record's kind of dope. Like, why did he title it that? Because I normally wouldn't listen to a record that.
It was cool for us. Put like this, yo. All right, remember when he came and you put me onto this when I was still I was getting deeper into Charles Hamilton, and you were breaking down like the whole Sega philosophy to me from his point of view, and you gave me the track the last of the Mauritians.
Oh my God, that record!
That shit was crazy.
Yeah.
And then he had do you remember the joint where he the Windows XP opening sound? He sampled that.
Yeah,
that shit was kind of
dope too. The first records I heard from Charles Hamilton.
So that was before the Pink Lava Lamp?
I don't know if it was or not. I just know that somebody put me on to that record, and we were kind of blown away that he did that.
And see, that's the thing, like. The reason why I say, for the listeners, the reason why I say Charles Hamilton is a genius, it's not exactly because of his lyrics, but production-wise, I really think he is a genius. Like, seriously, the way he samples Sonic, going back to Sonic the Hamilton. I think one of his earlier mixtapes, this man was 19 years old, but the way he sampled Sonic, especially on ringtone rap, when he took the Beyonce joint, I'll put a ring on it.
Yeah.
And then he mashed that up with the Sonic joint, but then he put the ring sound on Sonic for when if you fall into one of those pits and you lose your rings. That shit was fucking genius to me. But I think I don't know. I guess if you didn't play Sonic like that, you won't really get it. But put a ring on it, and then you just that shit was genius to me. And then the beat was hard because at the same time there were three elements. It was Sonic, so his Sega shit. It was Beyonce because he has a fascination with Beyonce and Grammys at the same time. And then she's talking about put a ring on it, and he wants a Grammy, and that's gold. And then you had Jay-Z because the drums that he had, they were mocking the Jock and Jay-Z joint, which is something that no one ever even thinks about anymore when it comes to Jay-Z's discography. So that shit was just ingenious to me. And he was 19.
Yeah, now I don't know, you gotta peep the interviews and see his resurgence. And, hopefully he keeps it going on past this Empire joint. Apparently he's with Iggy Azalea's management, so I imagine good things will come for him. Okay.
Did he, is he coherent? When he talks, is he regular?
Yeah, he's more coherent than I've heard him in the interview in a long time, but he did say he's on his medication.
Okay. Now, did you peep the Charles Hamilton documentary?
Nah.
Okay, because I remember when I was back, I was telling you about it. But the crazy thing is, though, you sent me an email about the documentary.
I probably didn't even watch it. Hold Was it the thing with him and his friends?
Yeah, actually, I think it had a cut. It had a cut about that when he had the dirty white tee on that was oversized, and he had like a chicken wing in his mouth and shit.
I think, and his friends were like talking shit to him, like real bad.
Yeah.
Like I remember like a bunch of disjointed videos of just depressing ass shit with him with his homeboys.
Okay, well, all right, well, this video, it was, I'm not even sure if it was through him, but it was like through one of like those Charles Hamilton like fan blogs that they made, and so it was like a mashup that followed his whole career from his first, like pretty much it followed like the whole Hamiltonization project.
Yeah.
From each mixtape and like what he was doing, like the interviews that he did and stuff like that, up to like when he punched the girl, and then his downfall after the projects, and then him trying to come back up to it. And that made me respect him more, because then he was even talking about on one joint about heroin and how he got into it.
Wow.
Which was pretty, because I mean, from my understanding, he's never really gotten all that deep into, you know, like his drug use. He would kind of always talk over it. And it was like one joint, he just came out openly about his drug use, and, you know, he was on heroin, and he simply said because he wanted to escape reality, and weed wasn't doing it to him. And then so like the interviewer was like, hold on, he was like, hold the fuck on. Are you telling me you were smoking weed one day or whatever like that, and you said it's not doing it for you, so you just went outside and went to a heroin dealer on the corner and said, hey, I want some heroin. And he was like, yeah. It's funny, but it's fucking sad.
It sounds like what he said when he said that he decided he was going to go to jail. When he decided to punch the cop and go to jail for 8-9 months or some shit like that. And he was talking about how he wanted to compare and contrast it to being in the mental hospital, which he was in previously, or some shit like that.
Okay. I mean, so see, this is why I'm saying, like, this man is like, I really honestly think he's a genius. I really do. And I mean, because even like, you know, when you told me, you know, when you met him that one time, like certain things you told me about him, it just really seems like he's like on another plane. I don't know if he was doing heroin at that time, but still.
I mean, I don't know. I just remember dude had flies around him, like who was it, Linus from Snoopy?
Yeah.
From Peanuts or whatever. Like, dude had flies around him, like he was mad dirty. And then there was another day I was supposed to get up with some people that was with him, but I didn't make it. But they said, you know, he had flies around him. I don't mean to be like this and to do like that. Like, you know, he has some dope records, and I really hope he does as well. And like, that's, you know, pretty much, you know, what it is. I'm interested to see how they're gonna work him into this finale of Empire tomorrow. Because you haven't been keeping up with Empire. I've been on it now, but you know, my taste in TV is very weird at times. But I think that it's an interesting show, and you know, he's supposed to be performing this song with Rita Ora, so I want to see how it goes.
I mean, I looked at some type of blog post and they're talking about quote unquote Yvette and Jody coming back.
Who?
Yvette and Jody. I said it because I know you know who I'm talking about.
I have no idea.
Okay, well, you know the movie Baby Boy.
Oh, okay, yeah. I saw something about that. Like, Tyrese's character might be coming and popping up on Empire.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, Empire has become like the black people mashup. Like,
and I don't know if I like that, to be truthful with you. Because and you know, like, I remember when I was in LA and like one of my colleagues there, she was doing she does like research on you know, black shows, whether it's reality or sitcoms. And apparently there's like a book on this type of shit and the development of Fox and how they pretty much just use, you know, black shows to get on, to get a black audience, and then they said, fuck y'all, and they jump to a white audience.
I remember that.
And so whenever I think about Empire, I just think about that, like the book that she cited. I can't think. I gotta find that book, because if I found it, I want to buy it for real. That and like, no, the whole shit she was like doing her research on you know, all these like black reality shows that are on VH1 and stuff like that. So I don't know if I like this whole mashup of black people, because then it just seems kind of desperate. You know, like they're doing it for the money, and it's not. You see what I'm saying?
It's like they're trying to get rid of ratings. And then once they get the ratings, they're going to throw some white shit on there.
Yeah, and
not even say white shit, but they're going to use black people to get ratings and then totally disregard them once they get it and keep going with what they're going on until that dies out, and they're going to repeat the cycle over again.
I mean, well, yeah. So I guess essentially what I'm trying to say is that Fox has a history of doing this, but I guess it just hasn't happened in a while. And they picked this random time to do it, and they give this big budget, you know, to these people in Timbaland. And I think the soundtrack came out already.
Yeah.
There's like there are reviews for it. I'm actually because some of like on the very first episode, you know, and the only one I've watched so far. Some of the songs are nice, actually. Well, really the beats for the most part, but I think that'll be pretty interesting to listen to. But yeah, I gotta get on Empire, man. My brother's been telling me about it for the longest time, and it's to the point now that he references certain people to try to make certain points about something in life, and I'm like, what the fuck are you saying? So yeah, I know I get on that shit.
It's definitely an interesting show. And, you know, like, being involved in music, I think is more poignant because you can kind of see how that type of thing that goes on kind of plays out in real life sometimes, so.
And that's the thing, man. It's like, me and my brother, we had a conversation about this, about music, and matter of fact, I think I told you this, I'm not sure though. You know that Shelby Raw is back, apparently?
Yeah, you told me.
Okay, just making sure. But anyway, he saw Nick Soprano and someone else, and, you know, they were like kind of kicking and talking about whatever. But, you know, like, you know, Nick Soprano and certain people, you know, they have certain family obligations.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it kind of halts them from doing their shit. And to make a long story short, my brother, you know, he said something along the lines that, you know, something, you know, pretty much like the whole thing about, you know, your significant other supporting your music or not supporting it. And then to make a long story short again, I just told him, I said, you know, you should be kind of grateful that you don't got to go through that type of stuff. But it seems like sometimes he doesn't truly understand it, I think, personally. And he kind of, you know, he said, you know, he knows what I've gone through. But the thing about me going through like this type of like the whole music thing when it comes to your girl or, you know, your boyfriend, whatever, my way of dealing with it is not mentioning it, like telling anyone about it at all. So I don't say anything about it. So I'm wondering with you, I mean, because I think me and you, we have like different type of formulas when it comes to, you know, our music and how we deal with it. Because personally with me, I had this thing about, you know, they won't understand it. So I'm not going to really tell them much about it, if not say anything at all.
Okay, so, damn, that's a deep-ass question. I mean, it's a deep-ass topic right here. I ain't even going to get this deep. So basically, usually when I'm dealing with a girl, and not even with a girl, but just with most people who I know, it's through music. And so they already know what the deal is. But right now my situation is different because my girl doesn't really know. And she doesn't really know what to expect because, you know, I have up times and I have down times. And next up, and then,
I said, oh, no, right. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, you know, my plan is for my next up time to never come down. And I've dealt with it before. Like my first girlfriend, you know, we started dealing with each other. I was 16 years old. We were in high school. And, you know, I was doing my music ever since middle school, and she knew that and all of that. But it wasn't really serious to her until it started taking away the time, and I started being on the radio, and I started, you know, I had the record on iTunes. I started doing these shows and, you know, things like that.
Right.
I started to realize that it was really real. So, like, ever since then, my girls have been somewhat involved in the music. So now my girl, she's more some family time type stuff. And I don't think she's really ready for the type of things that's going to happen with the type of things I have planned with my new music that I'm planning to drop. So, I think that, we doing women, it's weird as an artist because as an artist, you know, your art is number one and that's paramount. And sometimes when life comes, your art kind of takes a back seat. But even when it takes a back seat, it's always in the back of your mind bubbling. And, like, with your girl, like, that shit, it, you know, it's like, damn, I could be working on something right now. I could be doing something, like. And I find now that the times I'm really happy is when I'm able to record. And, you know, like I sent you the stuff I was working on. Like, I did that shit last week. And I was really happy, and I was kind of, even though the joints were mad rough and I kind of freestyled through them, I was very satisfied with what I came out with. Because it gave me a good starting point to work with. And I find myself listening to that shit all the time, like, yo, this shit is rocking right now, you know?
Right.
So, it's kind of weird because there's going to come a time in your relationship where things aren't going to be the same as what your girl was used to. And you can tell her that, but you already know deep in your mind that she don't know what you're talking about. So then when it happens, that's when shit is going to hit the fan. And she either going to be with it or she not. And if she's not with it, you just got to keep it on a high mission, you know?
Right. I mean, like, with me, with my most previous ex, the only reason why she really knew, well, I mean, I think I kind of mentioned it to her, but it wasn't anything serious. You know, we've had, like, private conversations about her anyway, and how she is anyway, and, like, me, when it comes to, I guess, employment before I came to Oklahoma or whatever like that.
Right, yeah.
But thing is, so I most definitely knew, you know, she's like kind of old fashioned. You know, I just knew that, you know, I'm not telling her shit. Ain't no point. Wasting my time, wasting my breath. But she didn't know anything about it until my brother said something about it. And around Christmas time, and then, you know, she kind of, you know, after that occurrence, you know, she got on me about it, saying, you know, why did you tell me you did this, you did that? And the thing about it was she was, for the most part, I would say, she was pretty much intrigued by it. For whatever reason, you know, I don't truly understand, but she was intrigued by it for the most part. And so I think I let her listen to, like, at least one song. And, you know, I don't know if she was intrigued as much, but I think her listening to one of my songs kind of proved my point about why I don't tell anyone anything. And I guess it's because I guess between me and you, your music was way more compatible with other people compared to mine.
Yeah, that's true, but I still get that same type of feeling when people hear things because it's more compatible, but it's still different. But I still have those certain tracks that I go to for certain people. Like, I profile people, and so depending on who they are, it depends on what I let them listen to. And then once I let them listen to certain things I know they mess with, and then they on board with, okay, this dude is serious, that's when I let them hear the other stuff, Mm-hmm. But surprisingly, it hasn't been as much of a problem as I would have anticipated when dealing with people. But two, that's because a lot of times I think, I think you paper, like you have resume and stats, and when you present that, nobody can deny that, Mm-hmm. Like nobody can deny that, you've made an impact and to where you're published in publications and people are writing about you and talking about you. Like somebody took the time out to write words about you. And when that comes, that's when it's like, okay, even if they don't understand it, that's when they be like, oh, maybe I'm not on the level to understand what this dude is on right now, but I need to really understand that because this dude is on some whole next level stuff that I can't comprehend right now. So I think that's what a lot of girls, at least with me, the type of stuff that they be on.
All right. Yeah, I can see that because I do say personally, my other life, it's it kind of clouds. I mean, well, it does. Not kind of. It clouds my my music type shit. So like pretty much with my most previous ex, she thought that the way my hair is, whatever like that. She just thought I was like some type of very interesting. She thought I was like some random nigga, whatever that means. But then when one of my homeboys said no, he does this, he does that. She was like, oh, he's one of them smart niggas. And that's when she got interested, especially when she saw me at like one of those ceremonies or whatever like that. And, so with a lot of them, that's what they know. They just know me in this other light. But when I go back to my hip hop shit, or even if I mention it to certain people, they don't take it seriously. Although, to a certain extent, I can understand because, to them, I'm not making no money off of it.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, I've been doing this shit way, way longer than the shit I'm doing now. So.
It's like a thing of, it's. You peeped Dame Dash on the Breakfast Club, but if you didn't, you gotta peep that shit. Like, some people are brought up to understand certain things. Like, they're brought up to understand, I'm gonna grow up, I'm gonna do this certain type of thing, I'm gonna work for an employer. And, we're kind of brought up like that too, but at the same time, we have other influences that allow us to think outside of that. And what outside of that entails might not be what is traditionally accepted, So it's hard for people, no matter how forward thinking they are, to get out of that whole traditional type of way of thinking.
Right.
And, it goes to when, I might tell my girl about something like, my girl doesn't know what a podcast is, and a lot of people don't know what a podcast is. A lot of people don't know what J. Cole's album is. And that came out months ago.
Right.
You know, a lot of people have no idea what's going on in this world of changing technology and music and advancement and things like that. And it comes to a point where I think that, and this is something that I think I've been dealing with my whole life, is being different people in different places.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to maintain your persona in various venues, and you have to live up to certain expectations in various venues. And on the inside, we're one person. So when we have to split our personalities and live these separate lives, it's almost fake, but it's very real, because we're real to a certain part of us in a certain venue, but then we like the whole other part of us. And so I think my whole thing is dealing with it is I've always been trying to get to a point where I can be my complete self everywhere to everybody. But that comes with a certain success, because when I can be my musical self in the musical area, I can't be that self in a more traditional area until that musical self can produce what is valuable in that traditional area, which is dollars, you know?
Right. I mean,
once you're producing those dollars, then you can be whoever the fuck you want to be, you know?
I mean, yeah, like, and it's interesting because I remember, I was reading maybe I was listening, I'm not entirely sure. I was reading or listening to a David Banner interview from like years ago. I think it was way back when he had like the Whisper song, which me personally, I think that was like his final hurrah. Because he had the first single that was crazy, and then he had he had some joints, but like, you know, the Yin Yang Twins and Lil Jon kind of took a shine, if you think about it, because he was kind of before them to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he had the Whisper song that was made by Mr. Collie Park, and he's pretty much using that style. And after that, he kind of died down. Then next thing you know, he pops up on.
Wasn't him?
Huh?
The Whisper song wasn't him. That was the Yang Twins.
Fuck. Oh, okay. Yeah, it was the Yang Twins. He had the same type of song, and he was pretty much doing the same song, but it was his song. I don't even think. Okay, all right. Well, it's like an all white or gray black background. He has like a whole bunch of women just dancing to whatever he's talking about, like every rap song. But then anyway, then he chills out. Then he goes underground out of nowhere, and then he goes with Ninth Wonder, and then he makes a song on RZA's album from way back when and shit like that. But anyway, he was talking about this whole thing about hip hop since I think he's like a college graduate, wherever he is.
Yeah. And
he said that his father didn't support it, but he started bringing those checks in, and his father told him to keep on rapping. Because I think he had like a football scholarship. I think he had some type of weird scholarship. Anyway,
I don't know. I know that he's spoken before Congress before.
I mean, yeah. But it seems like a lot of people have spoken in front of Congress. Look at MF Doom, dude. I mean, before he was MF Doom. Did you watch that video? Yeah. Did you watch that?
What video?
Okay. Do you know about like Madlib's Digital Empire?
Nah.
Okay. Well, have you ever been to Rapcast.com?
Nah.
Okay. Well, all right. Rapcast.com literally is nothing but a whole bunch of like Madlib vinyls, MF Doom vinyls, Jay Dilla.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, action figures and shit. And then like he'll randomly put like some other shit up. So maybe he put something up like on like a Freddie Gibbs or someone like that. But then he randomly put up that Zev Love X joint. And actually, what's interesting is that I think he took that from CNN because on CNN, not CNN, C-SPAN. I think on C-SPAN's website, I think they have like the same exact clip, and they say like Zev Love X. So I'm pretty sure maybe it was some interns that said, "Oh my God, it's MF Doom. We got to put this shit up." That's what I'm thinking in my head, but I don't. Nigga, do you know what MF Doom is doing right now?
I know that he's re-releasing the. Last thing I heard of MF Doom, besides like him being on certain albums, is that he's re-releasing the. What was that group? Black Bastards. He's re-releasing Black Bastards. I know that.
Okay, well, he's doing some super white shit nowadays. Two super white things. First of all, this nigga has a ring. He has his own ring. And, like the ring, it's made like, of stainless steel, and it's a ring of his mask. You can get it for like $100, literally, on some website. And also, what's even like more hip hop and more dope, he has his own wallabies.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
That's just crazy. Technically, it's nothing but like the Wu-Tang wallabies from back in the day.
Yeah.
But just instead of the Wu-Tang sound, which was way more dope to me personally, it's nothing but the MF Doom mask at the corner. It's dope though, and I think they cost even more. They're like at $170 and shit. But yeah, man, like MF Doom is doing it. But going back to David Banner, yeah. He said the same thing about. I think it's something that everyone goes through, especially listening to all these Warren Epstein interviews about different rappers and shit, and how they had to go through the same thing about no one took him seriously until they started making money and shit.
Yeah.
And I just know my mother, she kind of got a bit used to it when I did the shit for that for the movie The Runner.
Oh yeah.
I gave her like a little bit of money off of that, and she kind of shut up about it. But then I was supposed to do that. Do you know about the conference I was supposed to do? On Baltimore hip hop.
Yeah, in New Orleans.
Yeah. That fell through. It was my choice. I just can't do it right now. But the thing is, I was talking to my mother about it, and she told me, she said she wasn't all that sure about me doing hip hop, but she likes when I talk about hip hop. So I don't really know what that means, but anyway, I think it's a good thing that we start this podcast. Especially since your mother, feels as though you can come out with a book on hip hop.
Yeah, I think that there's a lane that's there that we don't necessarily see yet. And it's
the lane is here. Like they're like hip hop books like coming out, like academic hip hop books like every other day. I kind of thumbed through some of them, like the woman here who was doing the hip hop class. She told me that she has like hip hop books come to her like every other week, literally.
Wow.
And so I thumbed through some of them. It's like classic shit, Grandmaster Flash, and Furious 5. But I want to see that book. I'm sure they do have some of where they go like deep into reggae and shit like that. Where does oh God, damn, it's fucked up. It's really bad for the podcast. I can't think of his name right now.
Speaking on that, like, oh man, I was either reading or listening to something about how, about, hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, about just I mean, my whole philosophy was always that hip hop didn't start in the South Bronx. It started in Jamaica, and it was something about the toasting that they did and the battles that they did. I heard something recently about that actually. That kind of like led to my theory. I can't remember exactly what it was. I gotta look through my notes and my archives and stuff like that. But you know, Kool Herc was Jamaican.
Yeah, Kool Herc. This was
veteran hip hop. You know, all of that type of stuff. Even when you look at the beginning of how they battled and how they came quickly with the battle, like you see all that now with the dance hall and then like the Jamaican reggae and stuff like that. Like my whole thing is hip hop really started from all of that.
Right.
And I think when you're looking at it from that perspective, you start to look at it from a whole another perspective of the whole African diaspora of people and, you know, more unifying people and stuff like that. So,
I mean, yeah, man.
I don't necessarily look at hip-hop as an American thing or, you know, an African-American thing. I look at it as I'm not going to say African thing, but I'm going to say just a black thing across the whole African diaspora.
I mean, yeah, I would say that too. But remember when I told you we were at the whatever the Sonar is called now that we went to see the Mobb Deep concert at?
Yeah, Paparazzi.
Yeah, Paparazzi. And you know, my brother's peoples were in there doing that shit.
Yeah.
And just like looking at, you know, like how, like, you know, like the generation is now. And, you know, they had like a live drummer there. And so he did like a drum solo for a minute, but no one cared about it. And then it wasn't until they dropped like some type of song with some heavy 808s in that bitch, they started dancing. And they just started feeling like, you know, they start feeling whatever it is they feel. And so it's interesting to see how this, you know, how the genre has transitioned. Although if you want to be kind of technical, 808s were like a big part of, you know, hip hop transitioning in, you know, some weird way.
I mean, 808s were kind of the beginning of it, but speaking of that whole type of thing, this is a whole nother topic, but I was listening to a podcast where they're talking about Ray Kurzweil.
Mhm.
And you know, the Kurzweil synthesizer or whatever, and like he's kind of like the guy who birthed the synthesizer.
Yeah, I vaguely know about that.
Yeah, like I mean, he's a scientist, and that was just like one of the things that he did, which is like when you're talking about him, you're not really even talking about that. Like that's like a footnote. It's crazy, like that he created that, like the synthesizer, but that's like a footnote in his career or whatever. But he's like a futurist, and there's a whole like NASA has a Ray Kurzweil Institute, where they talk about like futurism and how new technologies are going to birth and come forward, and how you have to prepare for the new technology to facilitate it, I guess. And I thought that was real interesting, like how a lot of times advances in music are byproducts of whole other things, and it made me think about World War II with how we got the magnetic.
This call is now being recorded.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was I talking about? Grand Wizard Theodore with the scratches and everything, like how technology moves music forward, like how he was an electrician, and I think he made the mixer. I forget who actually created scratch. Maybe it was him too, who you know, did the first scratch.
I think he did make the first scratches. Yeah, he talks about that on the Warren Epstein joint. It was he made the scratches, and then Marley Marl invented like sampling.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Right.
So it's you know, it's real interesting to see the progression of everything and how it's moving and where it's going to move. move to, but I do appreciate, going back to Kendrick, do appreciate him taking it back to the more organic type of sound.
I mean, that's the thing. Like when I listen to the album, I said to myself, I said that, I did tell myself, like, this is going down in history. Although I don't, personally, I don't really, I can't really get with it, but, you just know when you just know something's going to happen. And musically, lyrically, sonically, conceptually, that album is going down in history. I think that album is going down in history more so than Yeezus. But I do think that.
Which one? Is that the new Kendrick?
Yeah, the new Kendrick.
Yeah, at first I wasn't thinking that, but now I'm kind of agreeing with you. Like, his first album was so crazy. Like, this new one is like, this new Kendrick album, I was thinking, like, he took notes from Nas and Illmatic, and then it was written, and, like, it's like, do you go commercial or do you experiment more? And it's like, he saw the mistakes from Nas and, and how that was perceived hip-hop-wise, even though I still think it was written with a dope album. But, oh, man, that's a whole other conversation. But,
yeah,
he saw all that and made this album, because, they compare his first album to Illmatic, so he had to really bring it on his second album. But, I don't know, like, one thing I didn't like, Kendrick said one of the most arrogant things I've ever heard from a rapper. Like, even more arrogant than anything Kanye has ever said.
Mm-hmm.
And this was in his Rolling Stone interview when, I think it was Rolling Stone, when they asked him what his album title meant, and he was like, that's for them to talk about in college classes in the future or some shit like that. like what, nigga?
I can see that. Because and actually the funny thing is that I really feel as though that there are going to be classes on this fucking album for years to come.
Yeah, I don't know. There might be, but I don't know. Like, that was the most arrogant thing I've ever heard from a rapper, I think. Say the most arrogant things ever. But just for him to say, like, that's for them to talk about in college classes, like.
Well, like, speaking of, like, black art and culture and, like, in college classes, I think it's Toni Morrison. It's Toni Morrison. Sometimes she, like, sits down and, like, watches lectures about her work. I think that's some of the most weirdest shit ever. Don't you think you'll be uncomfortable, like, hearing about your, like, about your shit in front of a whole bunch of people like that, and you're, like, there?
Yeah, I guess after a while you get used to it, but it's, I guess sometimes it's kind of insightful what other people can see in your work. Like, I think one of the weirdest things that ever happened to me is I had a freestyle on some beat that was popping at the time, and I put on YouTube. And hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody made a comment. I said something like, fuck a Google map, you need legends to measure me, or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Somebody took that and twisted it into something that was so dope that I didn't even know really fit. Like, they said something about the legend on the map and how, the legend is like how their measurement system works and, how they do their measurements on the map. So like an inch might be like 100 miles or something like that. And I wasn't even thinking that, but they delved deep into my lyrics and got that from that, and I was just like, wow, like, if I was thinking that when I wrote it, that would have been dope. But I was just thinking they need legends to measure me, like they need literally hip hop legends to measure me. But that person took it as a double entendre that I didn't even consider.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like I know it's like in some like in certain rap songs or like I think interviews, it's like a complaint that a lot of people don't understand like the double entendres that a lot of rappers do in their songs, and they get kind of annoyed by it. And then you know you can kind of see it. I know like when Jay he did like the triple entendre on Drake's first album.
What was that?
It was something about like L, like an L, like you know, like the word L.
Yeah. I didn't
whole
like
scream
that.
like L. I'm the man of the L.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool, but I know. Okay. This is.
I mean, that was some Papoose type shit to me. Like, it was a mean stretch.
See, this is another thing about this new age of rap that we kind of started talking about, like you know, when it comes to lyrics and shit like that. And I think that for real, between like me and you, I think that Papoose kind of fucked up a lot of shit for us when he first came out, because there was no one in the game doing shit. But Papoose was on these underground mixtapes, and only people in New York knew about him to a certain extent. But this man was fucking amazing. I wasn't messing with Papoose until like it took a while for me to get with him, because his first mixtapes, it was like he was screaming on every track, and it was like he was like not even doubling the whole verse, but it sounded like he was tripling over. Like, it didn't sound good to me. I mean, yeah.
As time went on, he did more records that sounded good musically and fit lyrically, and it's conceptual wise. Like, I was really messing with him after a while, but I couldn't get with him at first. I was more of a Saigon fan, and I still bump Saigon shit, like all of his first mixtapes and the shit he was talking about. I think Saigon is like the first Kendrick for real.
I mean, I have no issues with Saigon. I mean, I don't know. I'm at to say Papoose before a Kendrick, but I do personally. I think that like all three of them are in different lanes though.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even want to do that, but I know that like Saigon, he had one of the hardest beats I ever heard in hip hop.
New Rag joint.
Yeah, that beat is fucking crazy to this day. That's just crazy, that fucking beat.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, like, Saigon, I don't know, man, like, he had it. He had it right there, like, and it was just gone. And his last album, I wasn't really too thrilled with, but
We should have had some joints on it.
I found it hard to get through. Like, I don't know if you... Hold on, you're talking about his third album, right?
The one he was supposed to come out with, but he just came out with it.
The Greatest Story Never Told, Part 3?
Is that the only one? The only Greatest Story Never Told?
Nah, it's 3 of them.
Okay, so what was supposed to be the one he was working on for years?
That was the first one.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Mad dope, and Just Blaze did the production, and the tracks blended together real dope, and it was just like, I mean, that shit was crazy. That was like a 4.5 mic album.
So I'm guessing that one.
That's the one that you heard. So you didn't hear like, I mean, like the first album was the one where he had the 2 joints that went together about the streets and being his friend and everything.
I vaguely remember that one.
Yeah, that was the first album. And the second album was the one where he had the joint Rap versus Real on there.
Mm-hmm.
And like the third one, I can't think of any songs off the third one, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm a big Saigon fan. I'll say that. Like I'm a big Saigon fan.
I guess to a certain extent you had because I wasn't really on the Saigon more or less as I was to Pat Poose.
Mm.
But if you think about it, they were around the same time pretty much.
Yeah, that whole era. It was like Saigon, it was Pat Poose, it was Graf. Like people don't talk about Graf. Yo, Graf was dope. Like on a lyrical level, Graf is outshining almost anybody ever.
I mean, okay, all right. I'm trying to. So what? All right. So if you had to pinpoint what years would you arrange this era from? I would say 2006, 2007. I don't know where to stop it though, for real.
I mean, I would take it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I would take it from 2000 to 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And I would include Fabulous, and I would include Joe Budden, and I would include Lloyd Banks, and I would include J Hood.
Okay, all right. So here's the thing, because you're including a lot of people. I'm not. I can see that, but I think you're forgetting one other person though. That's kind of random, but I think when I say it, you'll get what I mean.
Who's that?
Red Cafe.
Oh man, that's an interesting one, cause I don't know. Like I'm just taking it back to when I was in middle school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in high school, Red Cafe. I don't know when people started talking about Red Cafe. I don't remember. Okay. I just remember liking them when I heard them, but I can't pinpoint him ever coming up in anybody's conversations. I just remember liking his shit.
Okay, well, all right, I'm the same way, but he had a lot of relevance on. I mean, all right, but put like this. All right, let's get real. When instead of blogs during the time, it was all about the magazine DVD things. So you had I think what was it, the Come Up DVD, and then you have the Smack DVD, of course, which was the biggest shit. And Red Cafe was on all these joints, these underground DVDs. He had a different song for everyone. And it seemed like he was one of the main people, other than a Pat Poose or whoever else. And Lloyd Banks was kind of doing his own thing because he was by this time he was Lloyd Banks. And interestingly enough, I thought Eminem made On Fire, who made the beat for it was Kwame. Never knew that.
Yeah, it's Kwame. Eminem just added some shit to it, but yeah, Kwame with the polka dots, he made that beat.
I never knew because when the Warren Epstein's Kwame comes up so much, and I'm like, I know he made certain beats, but it's the other day I was I just looked at his discography to see what the fuck he really did, and he has an amazing discography, I must say.
He did some shit for my homeboy.
Who, XV?
No, my homeboy Prophet. From Howard. I haven't heard too much from him outside of Howard, but he did some dope ass records for Prophet. Them just were dope. I think they both from Left Rack.
Oh, okay.
And Prophet had some dope shit from Kwame. Kwame is dope on the production. Hopefully he comes out with some more shit. But yeah, I remember Kwame had some joints with him, and that shit was ill. But I think I don't know, just going back to that era, I just remember Red Cafe because we had the same graphic designer. and I remember this was back when MySpace was popping. Red Cafe, I don't know if you remember, he had the MySpace page, and it was just this girl's ass, and he was like gripping it, and she was in his lap or some shit. And like his MySpace page, I think maybe it was an album cover or something. It was just a big booty in a thong. And he had the joint. You know, I think, you know what killed Red Cafe was G in it. Because, remember DJ Envy had the album with Red Cafe.
Right.
And they had the joint Paper Touching. But before I ever even heard Paper Touching Red Cafe, I heard the G-Unit version on one of the mixtapes. And then I heard the Red Cafe joint, and it was crazy because I was in Brooklyn a lot at the time, and it used to be Red Cafe flyers all over the place. But the only thing I remember was the G-Unit Paper Touching. And they kind of fucked that up for me.
I mean, it was kind of, like, G-Unit fucked up a lot. Like, they fucked up the De La Soul joint for me. Although the real one was kind of whack though, for real. So I'm kind of happy, Jay. You better than me, buddy. I couldn't do that shit. That was just corny.
But you know what's crazy is the Dream song, I Love Your Girl. I thought that was a G-Unit song first. I heard that joint first. I fucked your girl.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Man, I was listening to I was listening to the Warren Epstein of that they had with the Dream yesterday. He was talking about, like, you know, how he goes about his publishing type shit and stuff like that. He's like a really interesting dude because I know he paints as well.
I didn't know
and
that.
Yeah, he does, and he just does a lot of shit. But I think his later albums were better than his first ones, but I think it's like his best song to me was like that falsetto joint. The second one after Use a Dime, I think it's the second song.
I remember that joint.
Yeah, this was pretty ingenious to me. It was like some Prince type shit, but it was still his own in a way.
Yeah, I don't know. Dream is weird because I think a lot of his best stuff is on other people's joints. Like, that song Umbrella was dope. Like, I can't get tired of that song. Like, you know, it's a poppy type joint. I think that was one of the most brilliant joints written. Under my umbrella, Ella, like, like he did that, and then even joints that he doesn't even get credit for. Like, I think maybe it was on the same one Epstein when he was talking about the how he came with the ball so hard. Oh yeah. I thought it was Church in the Wild. No, I think he was credited on that one. Right. He was on that song, but he said, like, he was in the studio and they had spaces in the songs, and he was basically like, they should just say ball so hard in it. But, like, he was basically making a point to where, you know, when you're in the game, you're going to get dick sometimes, and you might contribute to a record, but the thing that's going to keep you in the door as a songwriter is whether or not you're willing to go along with the shit and not be an asshole about it and pay your dues. And, you know, the reason why he keeps getting called is because he's a cool type of dude. So even though he's the one that kind of came up with the shit that made that record poppin', he ain't really have no credit and get no money off of it. But just the fact that he was there and willing to do that shit is why he keeps getting called for records. But he was like, you just need to put that ball so hard in there. But, like, it'd be like the songwriter who writes the hit record, but it's all like, yo, I need all my money on my publishing and all that type of stuff. that'd be the one who they'd be like, oh, they difficult to work with. We just
Right.
work for this one record and we ain't fuck with them no more and blackball them.
Right. I mean, yeah, I can totally see that. I mean, yeah, he does talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you've never seen the Carter documentary?
Nah.
Yeah, you gotta see it. Like that's one like documentary you gotta see. And this is how it happened. I was I was in the mood for some some nerdy hip hop type shit, and I just figured that's in my head. I said I know Complex probably has type of crazy fucking list on hip hop documentaries you gotta watch before you die, something like that. So I Googled it, and I think Complex had one, and some other blogs had one too. And I think actually the Huffington Post had one too. And pretty much for the majority of the list that I looked at, this Carter documentary was pretty much in all the top 5, and like even some people say it's like the best documentaries of all time, just for the context and like and what you're able to see about the actual rapper. So I'm like in my head, I gotta see this shit. So I put it on. I mean, and it's not like super long. It's like an hour, like 20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes. And it takes you into pretty much the life of Lil Wayne around the time the Carter was about to come out. My bad, the Carter 3. To make it long story short, essentially, it's really about the main thing about it is it's about his addiction to codeine and shit like that. Because whenever you see him, this nigga is fucked up, and it's not from weed, because like he's like dozing off like a junkie, like while watching TV and stuff like that. And the way the documentary opens up, he's like in his hotel room, whatever like that, and he's watching TV, and he tells like the camera guy, he was like, oh shit. This nigga just had, like, he was talking about some shit, but he just had, like, the greatest rapper ever is Lil Wayne on his T-shirt, or whatever like that. He was freestyling. And that's how it opens up. But then it goes to, like, how he records, like, his kind of, like, pretty much his everyday songs. But, actually, they were recording him when he did the Swag of, like, Us joint, like, the verse that he did for it. And it wasn't like in no big studio. It was like pretty much like him in like some type of hotel room or whatever it was, with like some of his his people around him. And then he even showed him like setting up his shit. And I mean, I respected him for the most part, but I respected him even more when he like they showed like this whole thing about him setting up his like little studio. He gets like his laptop out, his microphone, he puts the stand up and shit like that. He records himself. I mean, so like whenever like on all those mixtape joints, when he's recording, he's stopping, he's pausing himself and stuff like that, bringing himself back in on his laptop. So I thought that was pretty dope. But then it goes into like him and his manager, what's his name, Brian Cortez or Michael Cortez, whatever like
Brian
that.
Cortez, I think, yeah. Cortez or Tez.
Okay, well, yeah, Cortez. And so anyway, he was even talking about, how he doesn't ride on the tour bus with him anymore because of his drug habit. And then it kind of cuts into the scene where Lil Wayne's on a bus, right, and he has this 2-liter bottle of root beer. And he put like this whole bunch of codeine in it and shakes that shit up, and he's just like drinking it the whole way to like the trip or wherever they're going to. And even before that, like the suitcase, he has a suitcase. It was pretty much the most hip hop suitcase I've ever seen in my life. He opens it up. It had 2 bottles of like codeine in it, but they were like in these vitamin water bottles, whatever like that. So if you ever look at it, you don't pay attention. It looks like vitamin water to you. It had like stacks of money in it, like magazines, and I guess like little like pieces of paper he probably wrote on, whatever like that. And then it had like this book full of like naked women. And he was like, yeah, I had to book a naked women for me because he never has time to fuck any women or whatever when he's on the road. So I found that kind of deep. So yeah, it was an interesting documentary, I must say. I would say it's one of my favorites.
The Carter documentary. I'm gonna check that out. It's interesting to see, somebody that candid up close. There's a lot of hip hop documentaries that's out now.
Have you ever seen Wild Style?
I did back in the day. I haven't seen it. Like, I can't picture it out right now.
You know, the funniest thing is my brother, he hasn't seen Wild Style.
He hasn't seen it?
No, he's never seen it.
Oh, maybe I haven't seen it then, because I remember seeing Beat Street because of him.
Yeah. And actually the other day, me and him, we could have a fucking podcast. We were talking about it, and I told him that, if I had to pick, I would pick Wild Style over Beat Street because, by the time Beat Street came in, Run DMC and like LL Cool J, they were like the shit, and so hip hop became, it was much more glamorous. But Wild Style was like 1983, so it was pretty early, and you had, and it really wasn't about hip hop; it was about graffiti and breakdancing. So it was a much more grittier movie to me, and actually,
it wasn't about rap.
Yeah, it really wasn't about rap. Although you have in Wild Style you have the Busy Bee, and I can't think of the other guy, but you have like that classic battle that even on the very first Beef DVD they talk about.
No. Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah, what about him?
That's about the Busy Bee and Big Daddy Kane.
Oh, I'm not sure if it's Big Daddy Kane.
Oh, that's Busy Bee. Yeah, it's Busy Bee and somebody.
Yeah, it's somebody, but it's an ill movie, and I was talking to my brother about it, and that's how I got even more interested into like army jackets and stuff like that, like wearing them and shit. Man. It's a real ass movie.
I was on another note, I was riding today through Hamden.
Mm-hmm.
There was a crazy ass looking dude with some shorts and an army jacket on, and he looked like he was like super racist. And I kind of and he had like an army hat and a jacket on. I was like, oh man, like this dude looks like he's serious. Like, but speaking of hip hop documentaries, I finally watched The Art of Rap that Ice-T put together.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet.
Yeah, it's a nice little joint just to see like different rappers' processes and things like that. Like that joint makes you want to just get back to the essence and start writing and put some bars together. Like it's not too insightful in terms of like history and hip hop and all of that, but it is at the same time. It's like it's just nice, Like,
right.
It's real good. I'll say that.
Do you listen to Ice-T's documentary? Not his his podcast.
Yeah, I try to catch some. Depending on who's on it, I'll listen to it.
Okay, well, I kind of like got into, this was the only one I really listened to, and I haven't really listened to it all the way through, but he had one with Kool Keith on it. But then also, I'm not sure if you caught the recent Combat Jack yet, but I think the most recent one he has, Kool Keith, yeah. But they kind of like randomly touch on like his Dr. Octagon album. And I was thinking about it because thinking about the credits, and I realized because the way those beats go, pretty much all those beats, they have like live bass on it. And, I'm thinking, production wise, it seems like to a certain extent, I guess personally, like the best bass, sometimes it really comes from like someone really playing it live on a beat. So if you go back to
I think what really captured that,
I think, because in the Combat Jack, he talked about going to the West Coast and all that. I think the West Coast was up on that more so than the East Coast. And I remember, being in various classes and stuff like that, my teachers, they would talk about how Tupac records were mixed. And, Tupac's records pretty much all had live bass played on it. And I think the West Coast in general, they're more up on their live instrumentation and the bass in particular. I think that's an important factor in it. Like, you can have a beat, but once you throw that live bass on there, it really changes the whole dynamic of the beat sometimes. And I think that's a lot to do with, like Thundercat, how we talking about Ken Lamar, that's popping. Like, when you can get on that bass and you can freestyle, you can do certain type of things that you can't do in a program or even on the keyboard or synthesizer or whatever. Like, that's what's really dope.
Yeah, man. Like, because when I looked at like Warren G's credits on his first album, which was like, for the listeners, Warren G's album, his first album is a dope ass album, like lyrically and sonically for real. He has like a lot of live bass on there too. And yeah, so I think like
the passing of Nate Dogg was yesterday, March 16th.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was one of these days, 15th or 16th, something like that.
Okay, because I listened to the Warren Epstein flight about 2 days ago. They had Snoop Dogg on there, and Snoop Dogg and Daz. And by the way, Daz is a very ill West Coast producer who I think is underrated.
When you say West Coast, I put an asterisk next to that, but that's another story.
I mean, yeah, but like, because it seems like no one cares about this, but when he had his that random ass deal with So Def when Jermaine Dupri was fucking with him, and he had like those 2 singles. And like the first single that he had, he like dressed him in all white, like on a yacht or whatever, like with JD or whatever. That's what got me into that album. And the album, it was okay, but it just had some joints that like Daz made. It was like a mixture between JD and Daz who made the beats, but even some of like the JD joints were ill as shit too.
Yeah, you can't front on JD, and like I think it might have been Combat Jack or Warren Epstein with JD.
Yeah, it was Warren Epstein, I know.
Yeah, it really changed my perspective on JD because, I always kind of saw him as like a child exploiter, but that really put in perspective. He was 19 when he came into the game, and Chris Cross was like 16. They were in the same age type of range. And
yeah.
So, that kind of really, I was like, oh.
I mean, yeah, he also, he based some Chris Cross beat or whatever it was off of some Helter Skelter beat. And it was kind of sad though because like when they had to go, and he was like kind of ranting and raving like niggas think I'm not hip hop. Da da da. I like Helter Skelter. I want to sit up here and talk with y'all about Helter Skelter for like 2 hours, but no one ever cares about it. And they're like, oh, all right, JD, we gotta go. It was kind of sad.
Yeah, but it goes back to what you establish yourself as, early on, and that's kind of what you're pigeonholed into. And if you can establish yourself as a wide-ranging type of person, then that definitely transcends. But,
yes, true.
I was listening to I can't think of the name of the album. It was one of the early UGK albums I listened to. And
A Bald Head Pussy Ain't Shit.
No, not that. No, not that one. It was like Super Tight or something like that. I think it was Super Tight I listened to. And
Okay.
I was kind of blown away by the level of live instrumentation and how the South, and it made me realize, like, you know, the South and the West really took that on early on before they even got on a national level and was making that type of stuff, and it was kind of like mind-blowing right there.
Right.
How dope that UGK shit was, but, you know, I never really delved into UGK like that, but, it really makes me want to go back and listen to some things with some live instrumentation, and especially like a lot of the South records that I maybe slept on or wasn't up on at first, like Scarface and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, you know, I know the Fix, but like that's where my Scarface kind of starts. Besides some of the Goody Mob stuff, and I mean not Goody Mob, but like just in the South, like the early Scarface stuff, I don't really know. And I remember like reading reviews in the Source, but kind of just, you know, back in the day, I used to always get the Source and a XXL every month, and I used to kind of gloss over certain things, but I need to go back and though.
Yeah. I listened to the one Epstein with Pastor Troy, and I want to go back and listen to his old shit.
Oh yeah, I did that. Yeah.
And you said it was cool, right?
Yeah, I like it. Like, I mean, I always liked Pastor Troy though. Like, I mean, especially those two records that he had. No More Playing GA. Give a fuck what you say. Ain't no more playing GA. And it was the other one, Vice Versa.
We Ready?
No,
which one? Okay.
We Ready, that was later on when he was with Timberland and shit. I ain't really like that song. No, We Ready was Archie Eversole, I think. Yeah, We Ready. That's not, what's that? We Ready. Maybe that's Pastor Troy too. But
Okay.
my Pastor Troy records are Vice Versa. What Would Have Happened Was Hell and Vice Versa. Ain't No More Playing GA. And then Lil Jon had some records with Pastor Troy on it, like.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Bros, that shit was dope.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like back in the day, like when he came on, you know, like on music videos and shit like that.
Yeah.
Whenever I see a Pastor Troy video, cause he came out like around 98, 99 and shit, he kind of scared me and shit. The way he was all rowdy. So maybe that's one of the main reasons why I never really fucked with him like that.
Yeah, I mean, back then, I was messing with 3-6 a little bit, and it tear the club up. I just remember this one video in the box, it tear the club up Thugs, which I guess was an extension of 3-6. I used to mess with that real heavy. And then, you know, riding around with his brother, he would play Break the Law 2000 off the Funk Buster Flex album. And that was my joint. Break the Law, we ain't playing. And it was funny because that was the same year when Cannibal Ox came out. And
hold on, wait. So there was a Break the Law before the Break the Law that we know?
Yeah.
Wait, hold the fuck up. How did that one go? Because this is something that I never knew. Like, seriously.
Man, you know, I recently went back and listened to it. I don't remember. I think it was basically kind of the same thing, but you gotta understand, like 3-6, they had these underground mixtapes, and a lot of their songs that came out were like more polished up versions of those songs from those mixtapes. And I thought they were actually called the Underground Volume 1, 2, 3, or whatever.
Okay.
And some of that was from when they were in high school. Like, you remember the joint, Swap on My Knob.
Yo, how did I know you would say that shit? Because the thing is, like, whenever I would hear that shit back in high school, I was just like, it sounds like a fucking kid made that shit.
Yeah, like they were in high school, I think, and then like I think later on when they put out albums, they would take joints from those mixtapes and like master them and maybe redo the verses, but they was pretty much the same joints.
Hey, well, I mean, it's like Space Ghost Perk, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it, like do what you do.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, because I know that around that time, my brother, he was also playing Lil Jon around that time too, like the first albums that came out with the East Side Boys.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty interesting because actually, I think like the underground joints that came out, those like that was the one that had Pastor Troy on it, right?
Did they have Pastor Troy on it? I don't know. I just remember that Lil Jon had the Pastor Troy in it. I don't know if the 3-6 had Pastor Troy.
Yeah. I mean the Lil Jon one.
Okay, yeah. He was on a couple joints. I believe on them Lil Jon records.
Yeah, he seemed very grateful to be on those Lil Jon joints.
It's funny how he's still eating, like.
I mean, no, he has a movie out and shit.
Pastor Troy?
Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta see that.
I mean, it was like some years ago, but it's like what was it called? Not We Them Boys. It was called something, but anyway, yeah. And I looked it up.
About Doja Boys or something.
Yeah, something like that. But he was talking to Walter Epstein about it, and he said that like it got like enough play that it was gonna be playing in some theaters around that time whenever they did like the recording of it, and I found it somewhere on YouTube. So it's probably actually for the listeners out there, if you ever want to see some hood movies like the classic movie that had Mac 10 in it from like The Source from way back in the day, if you ever remember that, just go to Hood Movies R Us. They have everything. They have Shotters. They have those classic Master P those Master P movies. The one when he was like a superhero, and with like the really super short dude who was from Hot Boys back in the day who wore like all yellow and shit. All that shit is on there.
Hood Movies R Us.
Yeah, Hood Movies are us. They're up and running. Like they locking shit down.
Oh man, we gotta post that on the website. I gotta get the website popped so we can post the things that we talking about. But yeah, Hood Movies are us.
Yeah. Damn, it was some other shit. It was all right. So speaking of 3-6, I had the most random Lil White moment here in this house the other day.
Oh wow.
So, okay, it was the white version of you who I told you about.
Yeah.
So we pretty much we sit around, we have our at the right class or whatever it is one day. We sit around, we had whiskey one day, last week, chilling, and we were pretty much like talking about drugs and shit. So I was telling him about, me and Percocets back in the day when I was a bit younger. And this was after, like pretty much like a lot of whiskey. And so it was like a big ass pause, like maybe like a 2-minute pause. And he was like, "Damn, man, Percocets." I'm like, "Yeah, man, that shit was crazy." And then he started chanting some little white shit off of the Oxycontin joint. You remember that shit from back in the day?
Vaguely, yeah.
It's something Oxycontin, Xanax, pause, Percocets, and Lortab. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, what you want, what you need, hit me up, I got you, man. So he started singing that shit, and I finished it up for him, and his eyes got really big, and so we sang the whole song a cappella, drunk as shit. And he was like, you got that? I'm like, nigga, what? I said, yeah, I got that. So I'm like, hold on. I said, yeah, look at my speakers up. Yeah, we bumped that shit twice, like. Yo, that shit is crazy. Scarecrow, what's that you poppin'? A powerful pill they call Oxycontin. That shit was crazy. But yeah, he told me that because he's from Texas, so he told me that and it makes sense. Like Lil Wayne was a big thing in Texas. That shit was crazy. I never would have thought I would have a Lil Wayne connection with anybody in my life. Of all things, I never thought that.
Hip hop, it brings people together.
I mean, yeah, it does. I mean, he listens to hip hop and country music and shit like that. A big mixture of things. I'm not sure. He doesn't seem like I've never even heard him say anything about underground hip hop type shit or whatever. But I actually I went back to like Talib Kweli and shit, and I was listening to the joint that he had with those random people that no one cares about anymore. The Sunshine joint.
Sunshine?
Yeah.
What song was that?
Sun, plant your seed in the earth so it can blossom in the sunshine. You don't know that shit?
From?
Oh man, it was I can't think of the rappers' names. It was like a duo of rappers, but it was like one of Talib Kweli's first features though.
Was it the Amadou Diallo joint?
I don't think so. Essentially, it was. Do you remember that like the mythical orange disc you gave me, mini disc you gave me years ago? Yeah. It was on that. And for years, I was thinking about this song, but I just never knew how to properly put it into YouTube or Google. And I finally thought about it, how to put it in. And it came up. I'm about to go to my Google Music account, to say the name real quick. But yeah, like that song's crazy. That's one of my favorite songs, actually, to this day.
You gotta send that to me. I think Kweli got this new artist though, who's kind of dope. Oh man, I can't think of his name right now, but he's like not Portuguese. He's Brazilian or something. And like he can rap in Portuguese, Spanish, and English. And his flow is like kind of off kilter, and he did this weird freestyle on Hot 97, and it wasn't really good, but it's made you want to listen to his music. And like I heard a song that he and Kweli did, and it was kind of dope, so I got a few more. His name was like something is like whatever his name is, and then the word is. He's on Javodi or Jahodi or whatever Talib Kweli's label was called. Jahodi or something.
I might check them out. It's called Fruits of Labor in the Sunshine. It was a 12-inch, and it was Wisdom Life and Nat Fingers. You don't remember this shit?
I don't remember, man. I used to be real underground back in the day.
Yeah, see, I know, like, on a One Epstein type shit, like, it seems like you type the sounds that I'm Peter Rosenberg right now. Well, it's real shit.
Like,
remember that shit?
I can barely hear it.
I'ma get my fruits of labor. So these pains like I'm in labor. It's a hunger pain. It's not it. Change my hair. My last year was from new with the cool. Then I provide the tools. For the stores and that grocery, provide the tools.
I don't remember that shit.
All right. My bad, listeners. Hold on, let me go to the course real quick. All right.
Plant the seed in the earth, the way the blossom in the sunshine. Yeah, my people say the company want mine. I play the back, I put in work on the front line. Sunshine, depending on me, you broken, I'm self-sufficient. And yo, I'm back in the sunshine.
You remember that?
I vaguely remember that, because I remember I said some crazy ass Kweli mixtape with like all this super crazy Kweli stuff that nobody ever heard. I kind of remember it.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was like actually another jewel for the listeners. If you guys don't know, if y'all want to hear like some or get like I guess like the B-sides or like some crazy underground artists like Razcats or something like that, go to the Lost Tapes blog. I was trying to look for this song. I finally found it on YouTube maybe like a month or two ago, and I was trying to find like an actual MP3 of it. Couldn't find it, but then I found like the history of it that the Lost Tapes blog guy wrote. He did like a little write up about it, and it was like I think it is like his first feature ever. So yeah, but like yeah, man, that mythical fucking orange mini disc you gave me years ago, I still have in the basement. a lot of gems on it.
Yeah, man, I used to be super underground. Like, I used to have mad joints from Alaska. And what's crazy is I've seen some new things from him. For people who don't know, Alaska was part of the Addams family, I believe, which is what Cannibal Ox was part of, but he was like way, 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 way underground, like.
Yeah, I barely remember him, man.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you remember?
He was on Cold Vein, I believe. On
okay,
the song Adam.
Okay, but all right, well, he probably didn't get a credit for it, did he?
I think it depends on which version you illegally downloaded.
Well, see, okay, on another note, when it comes to downloading things, a Def Jux album I've been trying to get is S.A. Smash, the duo from back in the day.
Boy, I think I have that in my notes to go back and check because somebody was talking about them.
Yeah, dude, I can't. It was like a while ago, so maybe someone came up with it, but I couldn't find it. But I want.
Right.
Huh?
Set. Let me see if I can find something. Oh, I got an email about my payment to Spotify USA Inc.
Oh, speaking of, did my mother tell you about Canada and shit? Hello?
Yo.
Yeah.
Yo, you hear me?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, you said, Canada?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, about how you thought that the, thing was in Chicago, but it's really in Canada.
Yeah. So, yeah, I kind of got myself into like a little pickle and shit, but, I'm waiting on my passport now, because the way it's working, today is Tuesday, so this next, well, I guess today's Wednesday now technically, but next Wednesday I'll be going to Canada if everything goes right.
That's what's up, man.
I mean, yeah, but I still gotta pay for my tickets and shit, and they're to the point that it's past the amount that they're going to reimburse me. So money's coming out my pocket.
Yeah.
For this bullshit.
Yeah, we gotta put a donate button up on the website once this episode comes out, and we're gonna figure out how to get some bread.
Yeah, well,
I mean to take my passport picture. I'm gonna take my passport picture Thursday. My birthday present for my girl is my passport. So she gave me the bread and all the paperwork and everything.
Nigga, that paperwork is crazy. Like before I went to like I prepared everything for the passport office, for the post office. I had a dream like the day before I was going to go there that I went to the office and it turned me back because I didn't have all the paperwork I needed.
Oh man,
that was a fucking nightmare, yo. But when I went there, though, it was cool, though. I mean, it went too smooth, and because of that, I suffered because the service that I'm using, like to get it expedited, they said that the ID, the copy of my ID wasn't clear enough, and technically I had nothing to do with it, so I had to do it over again.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's kind of fucked up, but yeah, so very expensive, but yeah, I mean it's a good thing to have your passport, like you always told me years ago.
Yeah, even though I still have to have mine, but you know, dealing with a lot of international people, a lot of people from the Caribbean, it's like when you tell people you don't have your passport, they look at you like you're some type of heathen from the dark ages.
I mean, yeah, man.
Well, I don't have anything planned, but I see OVO Fest was popping.
And that's in Canada?
Yeah, that's in Toronto, in T-Dots, or the Six, as these Drake people like to call it. And also, you know, late July, early August is when Caravana is, and so, you know, I've been meaning to go up there for years to get more in touch with my Caribbean roots. And I see some of the beautiful things that are going on. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm getting my passport and I'm going somewhere.
I mean, yeah, man, like, I don't have like a fucking fork in the road with like these two opportunities. Like, cause like the Canada shit, that's like a whole other story that, I mean, I don't know, I probably could like just say it, but maybe I should separate that from
probably, cause we've been going for, I mean, matter of fact, we should probably start wrapping this up, cause we're going for like 3 hours. It's like 2 in the morning right now.
Oh, maybe we could like chop it up.
Huh?
I said maybe we could like chop it up in like to 2 different episodes or 3 or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's probably what we're going to do. Because we talk about a lot of different things. I got to go to work in the morning. But, damn, I want to get into some reggae shit too. But I'm listening to Protege's new album. That shit is dope. And I'm listening to Luton Fire's EP. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the reggae tip until some new midnight drops or something like that.
I mean, well, I stumbled across some old classic reggae that like they got some shit on that.
What's that?
Okay, you know, Linval Thompson, the I Love Marijuana dude.
Yeah.
He has like this little, because you know he's a producer too, like on a heavy tip. And he has like this little thing called Linval Thompson and Friends. So he had like a mixtape that I've been having for like a long time, and he had like certain like remixes like a certain songs that he produced, and essentially he pretty much like sped them up. But this other joint I came across, it's a mixture of him and King Tubby. So to a certain extent, I don't really know what he really did on it production wise, but he has a song about King Tubby on it, but it's not really the highlight. But he had a song on there called I Wanna Go, I Gotta Get Home, and it's just an ill ass song, a classic reggae type of song, ideologically and shit like that. It's an ill song. I
gotta keep that out. And plus, I don't know, we gotta have another episode because like we gotta talk about Gully Bop.
Man, I was about to say Gully Bop, man. Like, Have you heard anything like recently? Because I haven't been keeping up with Gully Bot.
I mean, I hear new stuff every day. I mean, I see new stuff every day, and every once in a while I click on something. I listened to one of his mixtapes, and that shit was kind of dope. Like, I don't know what the hell he was talking about at the time, but I liked it.
Yeah, imagine trying to listen to an interview with this man.
And then, like, another thing, too, is Assassin. I want to talk about him, but I got to do my research on him more. But I tried to, look up some Assassin on Spotify, and it was kind of hard to come by. But, you know, I'm trying to see what the deal is with this Assassin dude and the hip-hop and everything. So definitely a lot of things we got to talk about. But I think this first episode went well.
Yeah, I think it did too. And don't forget about we gotta talk about Drake and his taking over of hip hop.
Oh yeah. I think Drake he's the king of hip hop right now.
Yeah, he is pretty much. Yeah.
Yep. Can't really deny that. Yeah. Unless we talk about Kendrick and you want to talk about J. Cole, and as much as I don't know, you want to hate on Drake, you can't really hate on Drake because Drake's shutting it down and. Music ain't bad.
Yeah, well, what alcohol? What kind of alcohol were you consuming?
Well, I went to the liquor store and I asked them, being that we are recording on St. Patrick's Day, I asked them for some Jameson. And I saw the price on the Jameson, and it did not have the quantity amount that I wanted, and I said I will forego the Jameson. And I will do some E&J, and I will mix it with some Canada Dry and make some Ghetto champagne. So that's what I'm drinking, and hopefully I'm not feeling it in the morning.
That's what's up. Well, I have the usual, the Evan Williams. So whenever I'm drinking, for the listeners, it's probably just Evan Williams, but I do have a small bottle of absinthe that I'm waiting to crack open with the white version of you, but he hasn't come around to it yet.
Oh man, so yeah, this is my first time actually really drinking liquor since January, and I haven't really had that much, but I do feel like I'm going to Earl at some point.
Yeah, see, I was thinking about when you told me that earlier. I was thinking that. I don't know. It seems like I tend to influence people to want to drink because I think I'm to the point now that I'm kind of just associated with whiskey. So whenever when I was on the Eastern Shore and shit, certain people I was dealing with when I went down there, they were saying man, I haven't drank in so long until you came back and shit like that. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but still.
I mean, I was on a thing where, I wasn't going to drink until my birthday. I did have a couple beers sometime earlier this month, but I don't know, it doesn't really do it for me. And I don't know, maybe some of that's because of my girl, because she don't drink, but I find myself, maybe this is part of getting older, I find myself dreading the feeling of the aftermath. And thinking about all the shit that I have to do and how tired I'm going to be. And, how, damn, I really could use a drink right now, but, man, fuck that shit. That shit really ain't going to help me do nothing. It's going to make me feel bad. And I don't know, maybe I've built up so much of a tolerance that I don't really feel it until I drink a lot, and then I don't even feel it then. But it just makes me feel bad. I don't feel good. It just makes me feel bad.
I mean, I feel you. I mean, it's probably like this. 2 weeks ago, me and the white version of you, we went out, had some drinks before class, and he mixed his shit up with Coke, and I had whiskeys warm with ice and shit like that. And to make a long story short, he said, how can you have three double whiskeys before you go to class? And I went there, I was fine. And all I had to do was just talk about someone's research. And he didn't get it. He told me he can't do it anymore. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Like, I don't know. I'm kind of over drinking, and then too, like, you know, I'm kind of on my health type joint. Like, you know, I've been losing mad weight, so my goal was to be at a certain range of weight by my birthday, and I'm kind of hitting it. Like, you know, I'm below. Like you know, my mom look at me and say, "Sure, you losing weight?" I say, "Yeah," and I haven't even worked out like how I really want to, but you know, trying to keep my body up and all of that other type of good stuff. But yeah.
I mean, are you working out or just eating or just not doing things?
I've been, you know, I've actually slacked off from my working. I was working out in the house and all that, and I'm trying to get back more on that. But mostly it's my diet. Like, I've cut out bread a lot. I cut out drinking, definitely. No sugar. And, you know, I'm already vegan, so I don't really eat too much. But I've definitely, you know, I'd be wilding out sometimes, and you know, chilled on all that. So it's like mostly really just raw vegetables that I eat. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I chilled out. Like, I don't be making spaghetti with the pasta or nothing like that. It's just raw vegetables, a lot of beans, like, and you know, taking shits 3 times a day and drinking. I try to drink 3 liters of water a day.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think I'm slowly but surely starting to master how to make black bean burgers. Although right now I'm using like 1 egg to keep this together more. Although I know if I use like way more breadcrumbs, it'll be pretty much be the same effect. But like vegan breadcrumbs are really hard to come by. You gotta like go to the right place. Like you just can't go into like the Shoppers in my dorm and like I've tried to do and get like fucking breadcrumbs. All they should have is Italian. There's some type of crazy milk shit in it that I don't need to be taking.
Now, do you think you could use what you call it, extra virgin olive oil?
I probably could because I know like there was like a list of like egg substitutes and extra virgin olive oil was one that you can use. But you know, I don't like when you mash up the beans, it's kind of weird unless you have like a food processor, I'm assuming. But like the burgers that I made the other night, it was all with my hands. So you know, I mashed like the beans over my hands. Actually, have you been put on to this is a whole nother fucking episode. Have you used what's it called? Nutritional yeast before?
Nah.
Now I was thinking, I don't know, I'm not sure if you really like cared for it or like that, but it has like this type of like nutty / cheesy taste.
Yeah,
And
at all.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I made some type of vegan nacho sauce for like my Tostitos. For the pretty much the most part, it tastes just like it. Especially if you want to put like some jalapenos in it and stuff like that. It tastes just like some type of liquid cheese sauce you would eat like in a movie theater. But you're getting a whole bunch of vitamins at the same time. It's interesting though. But at the same time, I've made like some baked vegan ziti. You know, like the pasta, and I've made like all like the tomato sauce for myself, like by just like crushing like the tomatoes by hand after chopping them up.
Oh wow.
I mean, I've been getting a bit deeper into cooking since I've been away. I'm not saying I'm no master and shit, but since like I'm not living with my neighbor anymore. I feel like really uncomfortable asking him like taking to Walmart to get like the large things of fish that I would eat.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to find different ways of like doing certain things. So I've been going to like the market up the street to get like certain vegan options and trying like to play with them to see what I can do with them.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's weird for me, you know, having like a girlfriend, like she like to cook every Sunday. So like, I guess, dealing with me is an adjustment for anybody.
Yeah.
So, she's been making like these curry potatoes, which are real good, and like she makes this stir fry with the like this Asian type of stir fry, which tastes almost just like the Chinese food from the Chinese food spot, which is pretty good.
Now, do you use soy sauce at all?
Yeah, but no. Like, I mean, she's been using it, but I haven't. I've been getting the what's it called? Liquid aminos.
Yeah, because I came across that shit in the market the other day, and I'm like, I probably need to start fucking with that instead of like soy sauce.
Yeah, it's I can't even front. It's mad good. Like talking about the Bragg joint.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I think I hit you up like a while ago about I got the Bragg version of the unfiltered apple cider, so I've been using that as the facial toner in the morning.
Yeah, I use that for facial. Like what I do for my skin is I get a lemon, I chop it in half, and I squeeze the lemon juice out, and I put some of that apple cider vinegar, and I put a little water to dilute it, and I put that all on my skin and let it soak in for a little bit. Then I put the extra virgin olive oil on my skin, let that soak in for a little bit. Then I take a shower. Then I cut my hair. Then I put on the
Kush.
No, I put on the shea butter. Then I take another shower. then I put on some more shea butter. And that's like my process. I try to do that like once a week.
Okay, all right, well, see, all right, this is, God dang it, all right, this shit is going way too long. It is. But, all right, this is another thing, too. And it's about shea butter because, all right, so, like, the homegirl I was talking to, she works at CVS, so I was in there, I was trying to get, like, some tortilla rolls for for the black bean burgers I made.
Right.
So I expected to just go in there, like, to get that shit real quick and, like, leave out. But she was there, and she broke her arm and shit. Skateboarding or whatever like that. So she couldn't do anything but like be at the register. So she wanted me to talk to her for a good minute. So we were talking for like I was in CVS like 2.5 hours just talking to her and shit, literally, last night. And because of that, I mean, I probably could have been like at fucking 4,500 words right now. Who knows? One of my big papers. But anyway, we're talking. Different people come in. And so there's like this one chick who comes, like black chick. She comes in with like this white chick, they're coming in. And, like this black chick, she looks pretty good. She has like short hair and she had like these real short shorts on. She had no ass though, but, she looked good though. And, so she comes up eventually and we talking, me and my homegirl, so she comes up and, she gets like some type of, crazy ass, weird ass gel protein growing type shit that's supposed to like grow your hair out. So she puts it on the counter and she's asking like the homegirl, do you know if this grows your ends out? And she's like, I don't know, because she just has like kind of has like just like a haircut, so she doesn't really do anything else to her hair other than that. And she's like, I don't know. And she's like, okay. And she looked kind of sad when she said it. And so I was right there, and my hair is fucking, at this point it's fucking winging on a lot of females. So I'm like, hey, I mean, I know that, I know that, like shea butter, it helps with growing hair out, with the vitamin E and shit like that in there. And so she looked at me and she was like, oh, okay. And she went on and she bought her little processed shit and she moved on. But it's like the way she did it though, like you had to be there for the most part, but you know, she just kind of gave me that look like, oh yeah, I already saw you were one of like little natural niggas. I'm not gonna listen to you because you don't know what the fuck you talking about anyway, and all you care about is fucking shea butter. And what's interesting is that my homegirl, she's Ugandan, so she knows about shea butter. Mm-hmm. And so she kind of like had a bone to pick about me and shea butter. And I'm like, the reason why I said shea butter because it has vitamin E in it, you know what I'm saying? And it's for skin and it helps your fucking hair grow. It's like, it's common sense. So I was saying to the girl, I didn't say anything else. And so she finally understood what I'm saying, but at the same time, like the way the girl looked at me, like it was, I don't know what it is, man. It's like being a natural. That's the thing. It's a weird contrast, being like a dude like this, but being in this period of hip hop where you have Kendrick Lamar coming out and you have J. Cole coming out, where they're growing their hair out.
I mean, I think that it's a weird thing of oh man, excuse me. It's just a weird thing of like stereotypes. I don't know if you ever heard of the term, like you know how they got Black Twitter?
I've vaguely heard of the term.
Yeah, it's like, you know, late at night when black people get on Twitter and start talking about black things and all the black stuff starts to become trending topics. There's a whole subset of black Twitter that's called shea butter Twitter.
Oh my God. Oh man.
And that's for all of the you know, shea butter type of people. Talking about issues and shit. Listening to Joe Scott burning incense.
Damn.
So I think some of that comes from the backlash of the shea butter Twitter phenomenon that's popping off.
I mean, probably because because the thing is, like, she had like a whole different persona. But when I said shea butter, that like she just didn't pay me no attention at all. Like after that, it was like a rap. And in my head, I mean, because I just didn't understand. I'm like, I mean, in my head, because when she totally ignored me after that, I'm in my head. I'm like, wait, I didn't say anything disrespectful. I didn't like look at her like her ass blatantly because she don't have nothing anyway. So I'm like in my head, like, what the fuck did I do wrong? And now what you just told me makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's like a whole backlash. I mean, hold on. I mean, this is about to be real stereotypical, but what was her skin complexion?
She was like chocolate dark, like, you know, like your the same complexion as your main ex from back in the day.
Okay. That's surprising because that's the stereotypical skin complexion of the shea butter Twitter, but maybe she's trying to break out of that and assimilate into the lighter. So whenever you say shea butter to her, it's just like, oh.
And that's what I told my homegirl. I was like, I said that's the problem. And I was shaking my head. She was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I was like, you know what I'm talking about. Because, you know, she's Ugandan, so I just automatically assumed that I just assumed and shit that she was what I'm talking about. I said, you know, he's like, what? The shea butter. And she was like, what about the shea butter? I was like the assimilating bitches that just walked out the fucking door. And she was like, what do you mean? I said, this bitch trying to assimilate to white culture. That's why she has like her hair the way it is, and she don't want to hear shit about shea butter.
Man, I got so many things about that I can't even talk about recorded on the podcast.
man, fuck that. Look, I got some crazy shit about white people here, and I can say some shit. Matter of fact, look,
man,
right.
hold on, man, we didn't even get into none of that, man. I think, man, Thursday we're going to talk about that. we're gonna have episodes on deck before we put up the first one.
Alright.
But no, real talk, man. It's late. My mother wants to be working at 8 tomorrow in the morning.
Alright, cool.
And I've been drinking for the first time since January.
Oh yeah, you probably should go to sleep. Yeah, this is every day thing.
So let's table this discussion for right now, and when we end the conversation, both of the phone conversations that we had, I saw the first one was recorded, so this one should be recorded as well. And I'll hit you when I'm at work tomorrow, and I think Thursday I'm gonna sift through everything and see how we gonna chop this up, because I'm not gonna be home tomorrow really.
Alright, now, so intro-wise, do you think we should, should we have an intro or just, go straight through, or should we have, the Channel 10 instrumental, if that's
I was thinking about the
around?
Channel 10. I listened to Channel 10 earlier, actually. I think we should do something with that. Just
cool.
briefly for, a couple seconds or something like that.
Cool. Alright.
But, yeah, we'll figure out how it sounds or whatever. But I think definitely we got some snippets and things to get people interested and all of that, so, yeah.
Alright, bet.
And logo-wise, I don't know, I figured something out.
Alright. Sounds good.
Alright, man, I'll holler at you tomorrow.
Alright.
Alright, peace.
Peace.